Hello, friends. Welcome to the show. Today, I have with me one of the most down-to-earth people I know. I've known him for a few years now. He is just one of the most genuine people, super talented. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. I think this is probably one of my favorite podcasts that I've recorded so far. It was just that much fun. I really hope you guys enjoy it as well. Please give it up for Hamish Borland.
Home Audio Entertainment.
9016 Radio.
The show for artists of all kinds.
Sit down and relax. Enjoy the music.
Okay, it's your turn.
I don't know, I'm just slowly working my way to the point where I can live and not have to work.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah. So like I'm slowly getting there. That's I don't know. I'm in like purgatory at the moment between like hell and heaven, you know, or like the waiting room.
Yeah.
Because like I'm real in limbo. Because like I'm making, you know, enough off painting to keep it going, and like that supplements how like, you know, living and shit like that. But then end of the day, it's like whatever the money I get from my part-time job pays bills.
For sure. I think just people our age aren't really going to have that sort of lifestyle super quick unless something really pops off. Because we don't really have any savings to really fall back on. So if we're going to make it, we need to make it quick, or you're going to have to play the long game. Because I'm in the same boat. Like I have to rely on my income. Like I can't really do anything else without that set amount of income coming in each time.
Yeah, you're
sell a painting here and there, but you can't rely on that. But I've sort of realised recently with a couple of sales that I was telling you about is that it is plausible, like it is doable. And when you're using something like Trade Me, as diminishing as it can feel, like it just makes sense to do it, and that's where everyone's gonna see it. Yeah, and actually potentially buy from as well. So it's like,
well, like, I've seen it firsthand because like Damon doesn't work, Haim doesn't work. You know, they make their money off music.
It's just crazy.
But they've done it in smart ways. So like Damo's not touring all the time or doing that stuff all the time, but the way he lives or like his lifestyle, he's brought it pretty much back down to like bare minimum of costs. Yeah. So he can like live that way.
Yeah, it makes sense. He's not really making money per se though. Like it's all kind of going back into the gigs and
pretty much,
that sort of thing.
Well, there's still a lot of costs and stuff like flights and
you know,
that stuff all adds up.
Yeah, it's nice to think about how much you can make from a gig like that. But then you do forget, if you're an outsider like me watching them, it's like, oh, sweet, you made that much from a gig. That's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, you got to pay everyone like to get up there and back, and if you're going to stay somewhere, you got to pay for that as
Sound
well.
Guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Just everything that goes into it.
Yeah. So tell me about this exhibition in Christchurch. How did that get hooked up?
So a girl who bought something off me like maybe like a year ago. She bought like a piece. Just messaged me, said she's opening a gallery.
So it's fairly new space.
I think it's brand new. It looked brand new. It was super fancy, real lovely, like big polished floors, glass windows. Like
that's what you want. White walls.
Big white walls, yeah. So everything. Paintings always look better on a white wall.
Oh, 100%.
Always.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. It doesn't make really sense any other way, I suppose.
Yeah.
But that piece that you had on the floor, that whole box set piece.
Oh, the plinth.
Yeah. How did you come up with that idea?
Because that's been in my head for ages, man. Yeah, I've had that pair of shoes because it was all for the shoes, like the plinth and whatever, like.
Right. So it just tied into that whole idea of having the shoes on a.
Yeah, well, like stand. I've always, because the shoes are like, they're just like old Adidas Stan Smiths. Like I bought them when we lived in the same flat, Duke Street.
Yeah.
Bought them there.
So they're those same ones.
Same ones.
So you've accomplished that goal of having some real beat up stands.
Yeah. In the exhibition.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
So like I got them when I first started painting like properly, you know, like when I was first dabbling in it, and I had those shoes, and they just like kind of lived life with me over that time. Like they kind of tell their own story, which is how I thought that they were like an art piece per se. Yeah. So like they've lived like 3 years of hard life. Like I wore them so much. Like
so they're a piece now. You're not actually wearing those anymore.
No, I don't have them. They're up in the thing, which is kind of cool to think about.
Yeah,
they're in a gallery.
What was the response like to them? Were people sort of like questioning it? Or
I don't know. I was expecting like someone to say something, or even just like have an opinion. But I don't know. I don't really talk to people that much at the gallery because we kind of got there a bit late. Because it was like driving up from Dunedin and whatnot. But I don't know.
You weren't sort of standing by your piece at all, like sort of wanting people to talk to you. Like I feel
was
that's a
kinda
weird
like-
dynamic as an artist to stand right next to your work and sort of
I feel like that's the way
Right.
it should be done, or the way you think it should be done.
yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of float around and looked at everyone else's stuff. There was this one girl I think she's from Wellington, and I don't actually quite know how to pronounce her name, but it's like Ian and
Oh, I know her.
you know her.
Yeah,
She
she's
had some
crazy.
stuff
I
along
love
like,
her stuff.
along the back wall, and I was
yeah.
just looking at that like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
What-
really,
what am I
really
doing?
enjoy her stuff. I followed her on Instagram recently. Might have even been through you posting something. I can't remember, but I was
Yeah.
like, wow, really nice
her
stuff.
stuff's so sick,
Cool.
man.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it was the same space, but she had an exhibition that I'd seen on Instagram
Yeah,
that
yeah.
looked. Because is she based in Christchurch?
No, I think
Oh, you said Wellington. Didn't
I don't even know that much about it. I think she's Wellington.
you? Yeah, but
I
you
don't
just
know.
knew it was her stuff.
Yeah. She was there, but I didn't talk to her. But I like looked at her stuff and I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't like the whole concept of standing next to your work when it's being presented like that. For one, I would feel immensely uncomfortable standing there next to it anyway. You're sort of waiting for and watching people's reaction to it.
Yeah.
Some of them it would be okay. Someone might react obviously nicely and you feel good about it. Someone else might also react poorly, but in a way that sort of makes you go, oh, of course, like you don't understand.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just would feel very uncomfortable there,
It's I don't know. 'Cause-
especially if like you're coming off as like a salesman. Like
Oh, yeah,
I went
yeah.
to the what's that annual thing that they have? It was at the Eco Centre, and it's just a collection of
the Dunedin art show.
yeah.
I've been to
That's
that
it.
before.
Yeah, and that was fine. Like I liked going around and looking at everything, but it's when you come up to a work that you're interested in, you sort of take a longing gaze at, and the artist is right there,
You're
and
like,
you're almost obligated to say something, and if you don't, they start talking to you like they're selling it to you.
Yeah.
And that just sort of
This
immediately
this means
yeah,
that.
exactly, and just immediately takes me off. Like, it doesn't diminish the work at all, but it's still like I'm not trying to buy this. Like, I'm trying to just see it for what it is. you
Yeah.
know? It's just a weird thing. I don't think I like the anonymity of a show. Like, I really want to put on a show and not be there.
Yeah,
Just
can-
have a show put up in a gallery and just not
keep
show
it about
up.
the art.
Yeah.
Keep it about what's on the wall.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's nice, obviously, to be there and be amongst it, engage reactions, and sort of see how you're doing. But I think that would be a cool concept to have just no one there and just look at the art for what it is rather than what someone is trying to
who's
tell
done
you
it
it's
or
like.
whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Are you feeling pretty comfortable in your practice at the moment? Like, you think you're progressing, or is there things that you want to do that you can't really achieve right now? Or
I don't know, man. It's tough as. It's real tough. Because, like, what I'm painting now is a lot different. Oh, it looks pretty similar, but I feel like it's a lot different to what I've done in the past. Like,
for sure,
I still
it's a lot more intricate than those early ones.
Yeah. They were quite, like, sort of throwing paint at the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best way to start, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a bit like that. It was just like, there was a real good word I learned the other day. It was like cathartic or catharsis.
Cathartic.
It's like to
Yeah.
get it, like if something get out of you, it's like a release almost.
Yeah, sure.
So like that's what that's what it still is in a way, but those ones are a bit more of that like thoughts or
Yeah.
anything that was like bothering me or problems or
Yeah.
shit like that, then I'd, write it down or just be like straight blunt. I'd
Yeah.
like write it down or do that something
This
similar.
is it. It's raw. It's expression.
Yeah. But like now it's sort of leaning more towards like ideas.
Yeah.
So like say I did have
More
like a
thought going
problem
into it.
or something, then I'd try like sort of disguise it with like an image or something or
Sure.
allude to it a bit more.
Yeah.
Because that's what I found. Because I get most of my inspiration from like music. That's like the biggest thing. And you listen to a song and the song's about a certain idea, but it's never said. It's
Yeah,
like
right.
it's like alluded to. It's
Sure.
like there's a veil,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But
right,
yeah,
okay.
it's getting closer to that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also getting more like impulsive. So like less thought going into it and more doing
Yeah.
to hopefully translate what's in my head to the hand. Like
Yeah. Right.
quicker or just, so it's more natural than sitting there and thinking about it for like,
Yeah.
a couple hours or whatever before I put it on there.
So it can take you that long to, or is it sort of preconceived ideas that you've had building up, or is it like, right, I'm doing a painting today, and you don't sort of start until you've figured out what it is you're going to do?
It's more I'd say it's more preconceived. So it's like going about daily life, going about like whatever you're doing during the day. Then like something or an idea or just anything might pop into my head, and I'll just write it down on my phone.
Yeah.
And
Just
write
build
down.
up an
Just build
idea
it up.
log.
But
Yeah.
I used to have like a massive collection of notes, but my phone like reset.
Ah,
It's getting real old. Like
bugger.
you and Casey were talking about the iPhones like getting old and that
how
sort of
they
thing.
sting you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
happened to mine now.
Oh, bugger.
But yeah, I've started to get some new notes built up.
That'll come
But yeah,
easy, man.
it's just like writing.
If it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like writing stuff down, and
Yeah.
I
I think I'm still on like that side you were saying, where initially like the first few paintings you were doing was mainly just expression based and just like you say, throwing paint on the canvas.
Yeah.
I think I'm still fairly at that stage and just starting to adapt some more time and effort into it, because I was getting pretty frustrated. I don't know if this happens to you, but you get in the middle of doing a painting or whatever it is you're doing, and it's not right, and you
Yeah.
sort of can't go back. Like, would you say that you finish every painting that you start, or have you sort of not thrown out canvases, but like sort of gone, right, no, it's not what I want to
everything
start,
gets
you know?
finished.
Yeah.
So like the one thing about my shit is it's like layered so much. It's like I always build like a layer. So I always
Come
tell
back to
myself, even if I put something on there and I hate it, I can just cover it up or put something else on top or
Yeah.
morph it into something else some way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what builds, or kind of what makes my stuff look like my stuff in a way.
And that
It's
can
like
be
the-
that can be same day because you're using acrylics and things, eh? So you
Yeah,
could
so
come back
everything's
to it
quick
in a couple
as.
hours. Yeah. That's
like
handy.
yeah, it's pretty much like acrylics and paint pens, and I don't think I really use anything else.
Yeah.
Maybe sprays, but everything
Every
dries
now and
quick.
then. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's handy. Yeah, I have you thought about using any other medium, or are you pretty happy with what you're using?
I've always wanted to try. I'm always down to try other things.
Yeah.
It's like I've thought about oil since I started. Pretty much like let's just try everything because
Yeah.
why not? But I still haven't tried oil. I don't know. I started dabbling in like pastels and stuff a bit more because I don't know. I quite like the way pastels look and like crayons look as well. It's like I don't know the lines it makes and
The
stuff.
real jarred lines.
Yeah, like real jarred and like
Yeah, I really like those
imperfect.
ballpoint pen drawings you've been doing that you post
Ah,
on
yeah, yeah.
Garbage Art Society. That's
Yeah.
cool. What is the story with that as well? Is it just a
The
platform
art
for you to
society,
post?
man.
Yeah,
It's just like another, like anything that doesn't quite fit the bigger, like Hamish Borland painting, whatever. Like
Yeah.
it just goes on the art society.
side hustle.
And like, yeah, well, it's just a good way. It keeps me going in a way because I feel otherwise I'd be stagnant because I would do something. I'd be like, this isn't good enough to put out there for everyone as like a big thing. So
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's a way to like relieve that pressure a wee bit and then just be able to keep putting stuff
Yeah.
out. It's like
Do you like? Sorry, go ahead.
I'll just sit there like most nights and just like draw or just scribble and something might come of it, something might not, and then I'll just give it to Darren and be like, hey, scan these in. And then like maybe like a week later he'll just send me, like this morning I gave him these two, like those two that I put up today. Gave them like probably like a week ago and then he just sent them through today. I was just like, boom, easy.
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
How do you feel about posting things on social media? Are you pretty? I don't know. That's kind of a loaded question, but like,
It's
are
pretty
you?
weird.
Yeah,
It's a weird thing.
like looking back on what you've posted, like on Instagram, do you sort of have these moments where like, this doesn't look the way I want? Like as a whole, I feel like the way art is presented on Instagram kind of limits you in a way how you can actually portray it. Like it's purely like your pure interaction with that piece is what you see on your timeline. Whereas if you're going onto someone's profile, you sort of get cropped images that are all sort of blended and you sort of get a concept for everything as a whole through that one take rather than actually going in individually at looking at certain works.
Yeah, and picking everything out.
Yeah, that was something I found with posting art on Instagram was that I just, looking back on everything, it was like all these works don't feel as special as they are on their own as a whole. It was a weird
That makes
thing.
sense.
Yeah. Do you feel that way? Have you ever looked through Garbage Art or your own thing and gone, this looks funny?
Not really, because like ever since I started, I've kept it the same.
Yeah.
So like I've always made sure it's like as clean of a backdrop as I could have it, and then super square, super like perfect photo of the painting.
Yeah.
because I just want it to look like how it would look in a gallery.
That's so hard to try and get.
It's really hard to get it
Perfect, yeah.
perfect and square.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I've tried to do that the whole time. So every time I do like a new one that's big and probably like, fits for Instagram.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it fits, then, just take like nice photo.
Yeah.
And then it's just there and you can go back on it and, it's not about anything else. It's
Yeah.
just about what's there
Yeah,
in front
for
of you
sure.
pretty much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just much prefer having it on a website where it's like, if you want to see what I'm up to, it's here.
Yeah.
I'm presenting it the way I want it to
Yeah.
be presented, or at least the best I can on that in that media. But it's a weird thing. I think as artists, you kind of just reach points anyway where you sort of feel weird about your work at some points,
At
and
some
you might
point.
not like it, but then the next day you go, no, it's okay. I'm doing
Yeah.
this properly. But it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. I had these like recently, before the Christchurch Archer, I'd done this like painting, or these two that were like straight up kids paintings, like 5-year-old looked like stick figure type shit.
Yeah, like quite literally slapping some shit on the paper.
Pretty much, yeah. So like I went like woke up one Friday, went like drove, got some food. As I was driving back, I was listening to Youngblood by the Naked and Famous. But like,
Interesting.
love that song so much. But like, it's a wee bit.
Wow, the Naked and Famous. I've completely forgotten about them.
Yeah, yeah.
They had that what was that number one song of theirs?
I think it's the Youngblood.
It is that one.
We're always young.
Yeah.
It's
That's
fire,
crazy.
man. But I was listening to that and I was thinking about like nostalgia.
Yeah.
And like that's one of my favorite like things. Like
Yeah.
looking back
Oh,
and being
for sure.
Great feeling. Everyone can resonates with everyone in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that, and then I was like, how could I capture nostalgia in a way? So I was just trying to like sort of think on that idea, and I was like, what if I do a kids painting about like a simple like idea? So it was like two stick figures, a boy and a girl, a dog, a house, sun, and it was just called The Simple Life, and I loved it, and I was like,
That's
this is the
sick.
best thing ever. And then went like been out with all my friends and stuff like Haim and that, and showed them all, and they were like, oh yeah, like no one ever really says 100% what they're thinking,
For
it's
sure,
real like,
for sure.
oh, I kind of like it, or that
And
could be
in-
better. It's never
yeah,
like,
and in the
shit.
context of a piece like that, that's probably a time where you really do need someone there telling you what the idea is.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, if you straight up just show someone that after other stuff that you've seen of yours, they're probably going to go, oh,
Yeah, everyone was
Cool,
a wee bit,
Haim.
like, they're all a wee bit like hesitant or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I thought about it, and as the days went on, I don't know, just sat on it for a bit more, sat on the idea for a bit more, and then it kind of dwindled in my head. I was like, it's not actually that good. So, but I packaged it up and
I like the concept though.
yeah,
I think that
the
can
thought was
definitely be
there.
achieved. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't
but
stop at one, right?
yeah, I don't know. I reused it on the plinth for the shoes.
Okay.
So like one wall or like one face of it had the big Simple Life drawing again, and then whole heap of stuff around it. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Ideas linger. They hang
Yeah.
around. It could be. There's like, it's like the shoes. Their idea's been there for like years now.
Yeah.
And then you
That's
finally
a
get
long
chance.
stretch to get that to where it is as well. It's not
Yeah.
like you just bought some and beat them up. You've really worn those shoes to get
They've
them.
gone through.
Yeah, which
like,
adds to the whole
rainy
thing.
days with holes in the bottom.
Yeah,
Like
for
some
sure.
real. Yeah.
Yeah, sick. How's that pink gin going down?
Pink gin's a bit sweet. But like, it's not bad.
Doesn't look super appetizing.
No, a drink's a drink though.
I might light up this second half of the cigar that I was
Yeah, I
getting.
might even have a dart.
Do you think? Oh man, it's fucking cold today.
Yeah, man.
Can't wait for summer to come.
I put shorts on and then stepped outside and I was like, no. Like, I was like, didn't get out of bed for ages this morning. Looked at my phone and someone had put like a photo of them up at like the beach. I was like, God, it looks fantastic. Like, what am I doing?
Deceiving, eh?
Yeah, and then got out like, got out of
Ballsy and
bed,
some
whatnot.
shorts. That's a classic. I pretty much never wear shorts. Even in summer, it's not a look. I not that I can't pull it off. It's just like,
I don't know, man. I got my brother, like, he just recently moved up to Rotorua, so he, like, pulled all his clothes out. gave me so much shit, and there was heaps of crap in there, but there was some good stuff as well. There were these massive cords from Hallenstein's. I just like chopped them, made some good shorts. It's my new. I think it's going to be my new summer shorts.
Fuck yeah, good shit. How have you been? You're quite close with Wax Mustang. I mean, we both are, but
Yeah.
is it weird watching him be where he is at the moment?
It's been a bit weird. Like, I don't know. It's always going to be weird. Like, the first time that it really tripped me out was at Laneway, and like, I wasn't with him for the first half of the day. He was just sort of floating about. I think like Lockie was taking care of him or something, or just like being with him. And then like the second half, linked up with him, and we were just walking through places and whatnot. And it would just be like out the corner of your eye, you just see people sort of waiting there, and they like pretend to be on their phone, and then like you can catch them like looking at him, and then as soon as he's done like on the phone or talking to someone else, like as soon as he's done, the person will come over and be like, "Yo, can I get a photo? Like, love your stuff."
Yeah,
that happened like so many times at Laneway, and that was the first real time I was like, "Shit, this is
real.
This is pretty crazy."
Yeah,
because like I don't know. You have to be a pretty big figure for someone to kind of stop what they're doing in public.
Oh, for sure.
To be
have
like,
that reaction to someone.
Yeah, to have that reaction to someone.
Yeah, it's so odd. The celebrity status is really weird when it's someone that you know, or at least that you've known before they were.
Yeah,
They are now. Not that Haim's really different. He's still Haim, which is what's so good about it. But
yeah,
it's quite an odd concept to.
It's pretty weird,
especially like in a city like this where you don't really have celebrities per se. It's just like almost pretty much just people your age, like fanning.
Yeah,
these
well, like
people.
anyone
It's
who's
really
a celebrity from here gets out of here and goes somewhere else, and
yeah,
there's not many people that do it and then stay here.
Yeah, it's not exactly the big city.
It's not the hub of
no.
But like,
how do you feel about being in Dunedin, like creatively?
I like it. I like Dunedin. I think it's like, I don't know. Everyone just gets the wrong idea. I feel like when we go on tour and stuff, we talk to people all over, like Wellington, Auckland, and like most people that you talk to have either like been here once or they haven't been here at all, and they just assume it's like students drinking, like vomiting, that sort of shit. They just get that idea in their head. But there's so much more, man. And like we all know that because like we're from here. We're like sort of in like the band scenes, and we know what's going on. So like it's not just like we're stuck in the student quarter.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, you can go anywhere. Like we went out to Doctor's Point the other day. I'd never been there before. Made me feel stupid as because it's like 20-minute drive, and it was the most beautiful like beach like anywhere. I guess you can get that anywhere in New Zealand, but I don't know. It's something I take for granted in Dunedin. And like you can even go like Tunnel Beach. There's like so much around us.
Yeah.
Or so much that's like close
haven't
proximity.
been much of a sightseer. Like I know the city pretty well, but like I couldn't tell you about those places, and it's not something that I jump for joy to go and do either.
Yeah.
But like,
see, I'm similar, but
the reality is like your point about the student culture thing. Like that is the initial thought when you think of the city, or one of the major points about the city. And it is true. Like
it is true.
There are students everywhere, and it takes over a lot of the culture. I don't think it dampens any creative stuff that goes on, but there is more going on than people realize.
Yeah.
And I think this whole COVID situation has sort of shed light on that, and people are sort of realizing that Dunedin's actually pretty okay. Like when gigs started opening up again, and people are like, oh my God, it's good to go out. This is actually really fun, because there's so much of that happens. You can go out Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday. Not that you can't in other cities, but like there's always gigs on all the time.
Yeah.
Like you do take it for granted. Like I'm pretty happy here.
That's good.
I think I always have been happy here. I've never, like I moved to Melbourne a couple of years ago. And I say moved, but I really mean it was pretty much a holiday and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But I've never been like, Dunedin, it's home, like it's comfortable to be here.
Yeah.
And like I've just made what I can out of it. I mean, rather than just jumping ship, I think you need to figure out what you can actually do in the city that you're in before you go anywhere else,
Like, I don't know, I feel like you can go all these other places, but you just end up doing the same shit. You know,
It's just new
there's
people.
new people,
different
whatever.
places
I don't
to
know.
do
You might
the
get more
same thing.
opportunities because there's more stuff, more people, more stuff going on. But
I think one of the big reasons people move is just to get that inspiration again.
yeah, but you can find inspiration in anything, man.
Oh, for sure.
Like it's everywhere. I was looking at my like pillows on my bed the other day, and they're like all weird, like different colors and stuff. I don't have like a set bedspread or anything like that. Like it's just kind of bits and bobs, bits and bobs. But there was this color combination of my pillows that just I don't know looked good.
Yeah.
So I was like, I might use that in a painting coming up. And it's like inspiration from my
crazy.
fucking pillows on my bed. Like
That's
it's
crazy.
everywhere, man.
That's so true.
You
Well,
could-
I mean, you have to be pretty open-minded in that sense. Like, for you, that probably happens quite regularly. You're probably looking at lots of things and drawing inspiration from that. whereas
Yeah.
Someone probably wouldn't think twice about doing.
But you
that,
you just kind of have to think about it, you
Yeah,
know.
that's
Or
true.
like, I don't know. I feel like if you're doing anything creatively, you're kind of thinking that way.
Yeah.
For like, I don't know, unless you're working a job or something, where I feel like that completely dampens how you think. Some people might be able to work a job and think about what they're going to do when they get out of there, but I could never do that. When I was in the job, I was like stuck there.
Yeah.
Felt trapped. Like, then you get out and you're so tired you don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, it's tough.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and physical and mental health plays a big part in that too. Like if you're working a full-time job and you are working such long, tiring days that when you get home you don't want to do anything else. You just don't want to go to bed. That affects you mentally because you can't do the things that you want to be doing with the time that you're given. And even when you do get a couple of days to try and do something, it's like, well, couldn't finish that because I got to go back to work tomorrow, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's a hard medium to find.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
You just got to find a balance, man. Balance
Yeah.
in everything.
And workflow as well. Like,
Yeah.
I've only just sort of figured out a workflow for working around my work, actual work, like my employment
Schedule.
routine, you know.
Yeah.
So I get that out of the way, know what I can do in the evenings, and then almost loosely plan ahead on the days that I have off, so I can figure out what it is I'm doing and just find routines. And like it sort of just becomes second nature if you can look at your personal growth and what you want to doing, whether it's creatively or whatever it is. If you look at that like it's a job and treat it as such, then it will end up paying off for you because you are dedicating your time in the same way that you are to your employment.
Yeah.
But you're just putting that into something you actually want to do. And that's exactly what I've been doing with this.
Yeah.
Setting all of this up and painting stuff as well. It's just working it into a routine where you know what you need to achieve at that time and set goals and dates and things to finish by too.
Yeah, it does help. I've never been much of a goal setter, eh? Like I remember in school they'd always be like, we need to set goals and figure that stuff out. And
Yeah.
I was always just like, this is bullshit.
I never ever knew what to write on that.
No, I
I've
haven't.
never known what I wanted to do with my life. That was one of the big parts of school that was tough. Was like they wanted you to know what it was that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, then
They can't help
they
you.
sort of, either like they really tried to help you, which was almost off-putting, you're kind of like, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Or they just ignore you because they're like, well, lost cause sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
Or
I got
like
a
they'll
bit of both
figure
of
it
that.
out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just,
Yeah.
it's quite limiting. And there's,
I don't know. That's kind of how I felt. Like at school, I didn't really do much. Like I was just playing hoops, pretty much. Like didn't really care about school. Didn't know what I was going to do after. And then it like came to year 13, and it was like, kind of actually, what am I doing? Well, I have to start thinking about this. Like, didn't get UE, didn't get any of that shit. So like, just ended up. It was either go do a trade or I can go to Polytech and keep having heaps of fun.
yeah.
So like I just picked some random like business thing at Polytech. Like
Did you do that?
yeah, that was like first year. So
Oh, really?
first year it was like
I don't think I knew you then.
Yeah, nah. Because like we sort of met around second year for me.
Yeah,
Around, like,
that'd be about right.
Yeah, I remember you came around the Screaming Eagle flat with Casey.
yeah.
There was one time like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was then, yeah. Fuck, that's
But
crazy.
yeah, like
anyway.
first year I just did like a business thing. I was like, I don't know, I just want to make money because I think that's
Right.
all you've got in
That
your
was
head.
the logic.
Like
yeah.
business, money.
Yeah.
I just put two and two together. I was like, surely I can figure something out.
Yeah, but that's not the reality when you get in there, is it?
No, because like I got in there and I was just like, I don't know. I showed up to a few classes and I was just like, I don't care. I don't really care about what's going on.
It's just school again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's no one like hitting you up. Like, at Polytech, sometimes they do if you're really like flunking out, but like no one hits you up like, yo, yeah, we're in a class or anything.
Yeah.
Like, so it's kind of on you. And then when it's on you and you don't care, you just don't do it.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about university is that it is really on you. Like if you don't want to show up one day, don't show up. No one's
no
really
one cares.
forcing you, but it's
No.
like you're paying to go
Yeah.
there. So
I
I mean,
didn't-
that's the same as high school, but it's like it's your investment this time round. So it's like
Yeah, it's a wee bit. It's a
obligating
same
yourself
thing,
to go
but
to it.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. There's not so much pressure, I suppose, in that scenario. But
yeah.
I feel like I've never studied, but I feel like if I did, I would easily just not show up every
Well,
here
that's
and
pretty
there.
much what happened. It was
Yeah.
like I did this thing. I was just like, didn't care. I remember sitting in like the midterm exams or something and just like looking around at all these people like writing and like nailing these exams. And I was just sitting there like, man, fuck this. Like,
Yeah.
fuck this shit.
It doesn't sound very exciting.
No.
Did you stick out the year though, or were you
No,
in
I
and
got
out?
I got moved to like another course that was like more of like a foundation between, because like I wanted to go to uni because that's what everyone was doing.
Yeah.
You know, that's what all my friends were doing. Everyone was at uni. It seemed like the best time. They were like, oh, lectures, and so was in that lecture, and then I'm just in this like fucking trash ass Polytech course by myself. Like, and I think I think Haim was in it for the first. Yeah, Haim was in that one for the first, and then he might have. I don't know what he did. But I went to this like foundation, like easier. It was like a level 4 course or something. And it sucked again, but finished it. They pretty much pushed me over the line. And I think I just got 50% and got the bit of paper.
Right.
But yeah, and
So
then
what was something you would have learned in a business school? Like, is there anything you took away from that course in the time that you're in there? Nothing at all.
nothing at all.
I mean, I
Nothing
don't
that I
know.
can
I don't know
remember.
what the best way to learn business is, but like businesses these days can be so different too. Like what we're doing here, this could be a potential business for
Yeah.
me. You know.
Well,
I
your
don't
painting's
know.
a business. My painting's
exactly.
a business. You
yeah,
know?
I have no idea how to run that. The only way I've sort of figured out how it's working is from other people telling me what I should and shouldn't do, and sort of just getting over these preconceived ideas about what I want my art to be like or how
Yeah.
it's presented. But yeah, it is a business, and it's weird working for yourself. Not that that's your or I sole thing at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's working out how that actually works is weird working for yourself. It kind of has its ups and downs. I like the fact that you can sort of, you do have control over everything. But
Yeah.
in terms of the logistics, it is fairly straightforward. But I just, at the risk of sounding arrogant, I can't imagine what you would really get out of business school. I feel like it would be very specific to certain types of businesses if you have to like
Yeah.
go to a course to like, I guess it's all money handling, that sort of thing. And
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't know anything.
really
Actually,
not
I was going
in
to say
my
I don't know much,
expertise.
but I don't know
Yeah.
anything.
nor do
Yeah.
I, man. Well, could you see yourself going back to study? Like anything?
Yeah, I've thought
at this
about it.
stage?
But like, if I was going to do it, it'd be more to get the check, you know?
Sure.
So like,
What, amp your skills up a bit or?
yeah. So like, I wouldn't have to work. So like, I could go to uni, even though uni
Ah,
might be the
yeah,
same
sure.
as work.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, you got to put in that same amount of workload.
For sure.
I feel like going to uni would be, because like, I don't know, I don't actually know, but at uni, I think you can do like different papers and different things. So like, you could go to, I don't know, do a BA, learn English, I don't know, you could learn about like Egyptians or some shit like that. Some like classics. You could learn
Yeah.
like classics, and then that might apply to, you know, there might be like Egyptian gods or something that could apply to your painting, or
Yeah.
you could weave an idea out of that or something
True.
like that. You know, there's a lot of
True.
things a lot of ways you could go about it, I think. So like,
It's still within like a curriculum, like you're going to be sort of taught certain things at a certain time. Again, at the risk of sounding really arrogant, I have nothing against universities, but like
Yeah.
there's so much information you can pull off
YouTube.
online now, or anything, you know,
anywhere.
And obviously it's a more intimate experience, and you can sort of get more refined knowledge, I suppose, in a classroom setting or perhaps not a lecture setting, but in that environment, like you're sort of learning things when you're getting told to learn them, even though it's within a subject that you've chosen and are interested in. It's like I really wanted to get in this part of the subject, but you've got to wait,
That was a
a couple of terms or whatever to get into that.
massive problem I had because after all that business stuff in first year of Polytech, I tried to go to uni in second year, but they didn't let me in. Did this
Really?
yeah. Did
Oh,
this
because you
other
didn't have from high school, you didn't have UE.
yeah, and then they looked at
bullshit.
I like remember applying, and like I've got this level 4 certificate now, so like I was like, surely that's enough to get me in. But then they looked at my grades on that and it was just 50s. And they're like, nah. So they tried to put me in this foundation course before uni. It's like, and I don't know, just leading up to it, I was just like, nah.
It's not the right thing.
Nah, it's just not the right thing to do. Because like I was just essentially doing nothing. Like, I don't even think we were making music at that point. I was just sort of drinking on weekends and then making my way through the week to get to the next week, pretty much. There was nothing to it.
It's so weird, man. I was just trying to form my sentence here. I lost my train of thought. Are you making any music at the moment?
No. I'm about to, though.
About to?
Yeah.
Tell me.
It's like I haven't made music in ages because, you know, like we're making all that old rap stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get to a certain age, you think about it, you're like, I'm rapping about guns. I've never seen a gun in my life. You know, and like it might sound like a real like easy thing to grasp for someone on the outside, but when you're doing it, you think you're doing the right thing because that's what all the music you listen to is.
That's what they're talking about.
That's what they're talking
That's
about.
what you get to
So you're
talk
like,
about.
yeah. But I don't know. Some people like you just kind of have to find out yourself or find out who you are and whatnot. And you know, some
That's
people
also, it's just part of maturing
in
as
general,
well, you know.
Yeah.
You do just realise, like, why are we doing this? Why are we copying these guys? But that being said, like a lot of these, especially like popular artists in America that are making music like that now in that scene, are younger than us.
Yeah.
You know, like 18, 19,
younger.
20, and it's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. And they're probably doing the exact same thing, just getting a bit more recognition from it, you know. I don't know how many of those guys are actually involved in those kind of scenarios that they talk about.
But it's kind of hard to claim it when you're in Dunedin.
Oh, for sure.
Like it doesn't really make sense at all.
Yeah,
no.
no, it doesn't. Yeah, but that kind of added to the whole thing of it. It was like, oh, you're doing that.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
someone that I know or lives here is talking about that, because it's not like you're copying them per se, but it's like you know enough about, at least at the time when it was happening.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you guys know about that whole scene, and
Yeah.
it's kind of a novelty on its own to replicate that genre. And obviously, like none of it was really real. What you know, you were talking about, no one was shooting anyone up or selling drugs or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it's the novelty of that genre being portrayed in the way that you guys were doing it. Was just
well,
part
no,
of the
there
whole
was
fun.
actually no one doing it in Dunedin.
No.
There was us, and then the other rappers were like the older guys, and they're all like, you know, Eminem, Tech 90, like lyrical, miracle, spiritual, that type shit.
Old heads.
Yeah, kind of. Well, they pretty much are, but that was the only. That was what the measuring bar was. You know, that's where the bar was those guys. So it wasn't much to like surpass it
For sure.
And we were just like,
No, you guys were super early, and that's one of the reasons I sort of, you know, flocked, I suppose, to you guys, was because it was like, oh my god, like
Someone's doing
someone's
doing
making the
this.
music that I listen to.
Yeah.
That was what it was for me, because like none of my friends at the time, apart from Casey, of course, that introduced me to you guys, no one that I knew was listening to that sort of music.
Yeah.
The friend group that I was with in high school didn't listen to that kind of music. It was, whenever I heard that, it was on my own or tried to play it at a party, and it just got changed out pretty quick.
Yeah.
So when I came into your scene and was like, holy shit, these guys know all of these artists that I listen to. It just clicked and made sense. And the fact that you guys were making the music too, was like,
Yeah.
sold. I'm in. Sign me up.
It was, I don't know, it was like heaps of fun at the time, but like, I don't know, retrospective.
Well, I mean, you did it, right?
Yeah, we done it.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you have to do it forever, but like you could be like,
No.
yeah, fuck, we were ahead of everyone.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, we were pretty early, but there was still like, I think Beach Boy was the first. Like the first proper. I can't
The
think
one
of
to really get sort of
I
renowned
can't think of
and
anyone
contribute to it.
before him. Because I remember seeing that All Around video and that first one, and like Will McGee's in it, and like those guys and stuff.
That's crazy.
And like Joe and stuff. Yeah. But like seeing that for the first time was actually like, holy
Yeah,
shit.
I think you're right there. He was probably one of the first breakout, like, sort of
Just like
alternative rap.
internet rap for New
yeah.
Zealand. I can't, like, I'm trying to think. There would have been someone probably before him that sparked him, but he's the
One that
what
really
I
set it
see.
off and realised other people go, oh, yeah, I could do that as well.
He's what I see as like the first
For sure.
person
Yeah.
to do that shit.
Full credit. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. So what is it that you've got cooking up at the moment? Is it just an idea?
Well, like I don't know, because like I think about my paintings in a music way, if that makes sense.
Because you were saying a lot of inspiration comes from
A lot of the inspiration comes from music, and then like I don't know, when I think about doing an exhibition, I kind of think about it as an album. So like how to tie it together. So like I was
right.
before, because I haven't really done like a proper exhibition yet of like how I want to do it. Like exhibition at this Christchurch thing was kind of a lot of pieces that are similar, but they weren't tied together with a idea or a theme.
Pieces of your own or everyone's work that was there?
My ones.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So like, because it is a group show, you can't really do it. But like when
Yeah,
it comes
sure.
time to do a like full solo show or whatever, then it's gonna be like an album. So
Yeah, right.
like, you know, ideas and stuff, and it all ties together to make one.
It's all conceptual.
One big cohesive thing.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So this is all in your head at this stage, or have you got anything? Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, music wise, it's just popped up recently. 'Cause you know Nick Wedderburn?
Rings a bell. I don't think I know him.
He's
personally.
from Queenstown, friends with like Theo and stuff. So he's been
okay.
making beats for ages.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anyone to get on them, and so I was like,
Please.
why not, man?
What kind of
It's-
beats are we talking? Like, what sort of path?
I think it's like trappy.
Yeah.
I've listened to a couple. It's like trappy. He uses like FL,
Oh yeah.
so it's like I don't know, it kind of just sounds like that. But from the first beat that I heard ages ago to where he is now has been a massive jump.
Yeah.
So like, you know, it's only up from here.
Yeah, for
him.
sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh well, that's good that he's got someone, I guess, now to.
Yeah,
To
well,
let
we'll
someone
just
do
have to see
something
if
on.
I can actually rap.
Yeah.
Might have lost my flow. Might have just lost
I'm
everything.
sure you've got it, man. I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
as soon as you're back in the booth, you'll be
Fire in
right.
the booth.
Is there anyone you sort of got your eye on, like creatively in Dunedin or in New Zealand, that like you see is potentially going to be doing well in their field? I know that's kind of broad, but I feel like you're good with the underground.
I don't know. I see.
Even someone that's already doing well that you know is going to do a lot better.
Yeah.
And it's all right if you're biased.
Yeah, I'm probably am a bit biased.
Yeah.
But just Nick and Ruben,
Oh, for sure.
they're just untouchable, man. Like, so completely themselves, not like, doesn't sound like anyone else's music, you
Yeah.
know? And that can, you know, it can't go down, it can only go up.
Yeah.
So, like, that's going to be something. And, like, for them, from seeing them when they started to where they are now, is pretty crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I
Like-
didn't really realize the extent of their audience. And I think
Neither.
it was probably, well, I don't know where it stems from, but, you know, they were playing at R&V when you guys were playing there as well.
Yeah.
Jack Berry and stuff. And they probably grew a big audience there. But, yeah, seeing, like, their followers and, like, watching all these shows that they were selling
Yeah.
and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, people like this stuff. It's
They're,
sick.
they're
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Fuck
Best,
yeah.
like, hands down, the best, some of the best dudes I know.
Oh, 100% the nicest guys. I've met.
crazy, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's good to see them doing well.
Ribbon's coming down soon, I think Damon was telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it
that'd
might
be
be
cool.
like, not this weekend, maybe next.
Sweet. Oh, man, I'll have to try and get him on here. I think he'll be good.
Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be good to talk to.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, those guys, so nice. So nice to have that kind of energy. People with that sort of energy. Like, I'm usually quite, I want to say repelled. I will say repelled by people of that nature typically.
That are too happy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
I know what
that
you mean.
really over sort of like, oh,
Like, how do you,
chill.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I look at people like that, like, how do you see the world like this?
Yeah,
I want to know.
It's just interesting. I've always sort of backed away from that, but they did it in such a way where it just felt loving. Like it wasn't like they were putting anything on. It was just like, these are just two of the nicest guys.
Just
They just
genuine.
mean so well. They're
Yeah.
genuine, and it's like, oh, this is just cozy. Like you sort of just are friends with them like straight away. It was so
Yeah.
nice. Yeah,
Yes, dude.
sick. I'm gonna have a wee pee break.
Yeah, that's fair. I might need to piss as well.
What music have you been listening to recently?
It's all over the show, eh? I don't even need to look at my Spotify.
Please do, because I know you always know the up and comers or the underground stuff
Well,
before.
That's the thing. I always did. I always used to, like, almost like pride myself on knowing
Yeah,
what's happening before it happens. But, like, I just don't really. Like, new rap, I just
yeah,
don't really give a shit.
not so much recently.
No.
Have you seen the new XXL freshman?
I had a
list?
look at it and I knew, like, 3 people on it.
I knew, I was the same. I knew a couple of them, but hadn't even listened to their music to really know whether they were, I suppose, worthy. But that list is sort of like,
I don't know. It really
doesn't really mean too much.
I don't know. I guess
Me.
I'm kind of becoming like an old head now. Like getting to the point where you just don't care about like what's coming up or whatever. But
Well, that's the same thing again, man. It's just maturing and just realizing that that's just something you liked at that age. You know, you can't be expected to be liking the same shit for your whole life. You
I'm
know?
glad I liked it at the time I did because retrospectively, that 2016 with like Lil Yachty and Uzi and stuff, that's the best. Like, that's you can't touch that.
Dude, one of the things I never did and I said I was going to do is go back and listen to that Lil Yachty tape because...
What, Lil Boat 1?
Yeah,
It's
because
fantastic.
you and someone else always raved about it. And I'd listened to it initially before I'd even knew you guys had liked it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I really thought twice about it. I didn't dislike it. I didn't really love it either. I think
it didn't grip you, you know?
No, it was sort of in that era where those kind of artists were coming, like
Coming
the
out,
SoundCloud
yeah.
rap sort of thing. And you guys just ranted and raved about it so much. I never went back and actually listened to the whole tape.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to do that now. But
I don't know.
what was it about that tape that you were so drawn to?
I don't know. It
Just when
blew
you know,
my,
you
it
know,
just
I suppose.
blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think there was a lot of things going in. Like, I hadn't actually heard of Lil Yachty before. And then I think I saw...
Well, that was his first, like, big
That was his
project,
first
though,
big
wasn't it?
bang, yeah. So like there was a few songs before that. I might even had a project before that. I don't know, but I remember seeing him on the Easy season as modeling with the bright red hair.
Oh, true.
Yeah, because it was
Fuck, I forgot about that.
that was like the big
Yeah.
like Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that's a pretty big...
that's like iconic as.
Yeah.
Because it's got like the Travis and when they're all like, oh yo, Thug's gonna plug his phone in and play
Yeah.
a song. He played with them. I remember hearing that.
During the Yeezy...
During the Easy thing, 'cause it's got that like doom 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 doom.
Yeah,
doom,
yeah.
doom. Yeah, it's got that.
Oh,
that.
shit. I
He's
forgot
like, he
that
just
a
plugs in
little
the
bit.
aux like straight into his phone, bro, and then just like he's like, yeah, Thug's gonna play some unreleased, and he just goes like,
Fuck yeah.
it's fire.
It's so sick.
But like hearing that, and then it was like just before. I feel like it was real close to the time of that Freshman coming out, or my like time might be blurred in my head, but I remember that tape came out either. I think it was before the Freshman class. I just like sat on the edge of my bed with my laptop and just listened to it, and I was just like, nice, like wow. But it was like it's so shit at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know, it's real hard because like Minnesota is like it's like
Yeah,
colors.
that's crazy song.
It's
That's
annoying
probably
as.
one of the one songs I remember from that. Or
Yeah, that's
first
like
introduction
the
to
kind of
you.
like the big hit, but
Yeah.
then like I don't know, it was just I think it was more the draw to Yachty himself
Sure.
because he was like I don't know, I hadn't seen a rapper like him before with like bright hair and like he was all like loving and happy and
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just like
Very interesting persona in that field.
and rap. I don't know. It just sort of grabbed me at the time and I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And there's a couple songs down that album like Out Late, which is like beautiful as.
Yeah.
It's like real lovely.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to go back and listen to this now.
Yeah.
You had introduced me to Pop Smoke.
Did I?
Yeah. Or I'm pretty sure it was you because you had played Welcome to the Party in the car one time.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that I liked that kind of music as much as I did. So when you played it, I was like, this
Yeah.
is really heavy. This is sick. I hadn't asked you what it was at the time, but then I think you played it again on another occasion. And then we were at a party. I don't know where the hell we were, but you had played that and Dior through the KRKs and whoever's studio room it was at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, shat my pants because
yeah.
this was crazy. How did you react to him passing away?
I don't know. That was it's just sad. Just sad in general. Like someone really, because like he'd popped off, but he hadn't quite gone the full way. He was so close to just going like
He made
mega bang.
He made a pretty significant leap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then just to be cut short right at that point is pretty fucking sad.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't even like him the first time I heard him. Actually,
really?
Yeah, because Haim found
Slower that.
Haim being Haim. He's the one who finds everything. So he
Wax Mustang we're talking about.
yeah. So Mustang finds everything before it happens. You can see the future.
Yeah.
But he showed me Pop Smoke. I think he showed me. Might have been Welcome to the Party.
Yeah. I think
that was
his
the one.
Recognizable.
And I listened to it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I was like, it's just not hitting.
Did you even like UK drill at the time? Do you even like that kind of music?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Because it's an interesting introduction to that style of music if you weren't already familiar with UK drill.
Yeah.
You know,
I
because
don't know.
it's one of those beats. It's pretty.
I guess I've kind of
identifiable.
heard a lot over my years of listening.
Yeah.
And like being a rap fan.
Yeah.
But like I never not say I'm a fan of a genre because there's always going to be a song in that genre that hits you.
Yeah.
Like there's always something. But I don't know. I guess it just wasn't Pop Smoke wasn't gripping me.
Fair enough, I suppose.
And then I waited for a bit and Haim showed me more. I think he showed me Hawkham, which is on that like Meet the Woo 2 album or tape. And then one day I just took the time out and listened to that whole tape, like cover to cover.
Yeah.
And then after that, I loved him.
Meet the Woo 2 or the first one?
The one that's like dark blue cover.
Yeah.
Is
That's
that
the first Meet the Woo.
first Meet the Woo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one with like Dior and
Yeah.
Listen to that, and I was just like, I actually really like this. This
Yeah.
is really good. It goes so hard.
It's really grimy.
Yeah.
I really like the. I have to look this up because there's one song on there that when I heard it, I was like, this is 50 Cent again. It's the one that's not like a UK drill beat. It's more like a actual like heavy sort of trap, darker trap beat.
What was on
I
there?
can't remember what it was called.
Because there's Dior, Welcome to the Party, and then I really liked Hawkham. He's like Big
Yeah,
38 going Hawkham.
I haven't heard that one.
That one goes really hard.
Fuck, what is it called? Have you listened to his posthumous album?
No.
Yeah, I haven't either. I'm kind of actually no, that's not true because them released all of the songs on YouTube with like music videos to them as well. So I sort of cycled through. I don't remember being super impressed, but I feel like with his kind of music, you have to have like decent speakers going. You don't have that same feel to it. Whereas PTSD,
PTSD. Yeah. That was actually. I think that was the first thing that gripped me as well.
Because it's if you come into Welcome to the Party first, it's like, okay, this is the whole thing. You know, you're getting smashed with this new concept.
Yeah.
Whereas PTSD is like a nice transition. So if you sort of get through the album, you get to PTSD and you sort of go back to Welcome to the Party or Dior and be like, okay, I get it.
Well, like, I don't know. Anytime you listen to like a big party song or like something that hits real hard, and like quite often when something new drops, I'll just be on my phone and I'll just play it out my phone and be like, oh yeah. So like, you listen to something like that, it's hard to get a grasp on how hard it actually goes
for sure.
just out your phone.
And that's why Pop Smoke in particular was so powerful. When I first listened to him is because the first time I listened to Welcome to the Party, we were in your car and the speakers were like 100%. And I was like, the whole car was just rattling. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then the next time I heard it, helped that I was pissed, but was drunk and it was playing through the KRKs. It was like,
it would have just
holy
been
fuck,
knocking.
you could hear every like nook and cranny of the song. It was like, fuck yeah, this is dope. But I've really lost touch with music recently, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've just been doing other shit. It sounds real arrogant, but I've just been too busy to listen to music.
Yeah,
It sounds
yeah.
weird. And ever since I've been listening to podcasts, that's really just all I have when I have my headphones on. I'm just listening to podcasts. So I've really just lost. I have no idea what any new music is like.
That's, I don't know. I'm
It's just lifestyle
kind of
changes.
similar. Like I still listen to music like every day, all the time, pretty much. But
You're pretty playlist heavy. Like you've got your stuff in order.
no,
From what I remember,
it's
not
all,
anymore.
It's all garbage. It's all gobbledygook. So like it's I'll make a playlist and maybe like 5 times I've come with the intention like this playlist is going to be for this type of music.
yeah.
But then like I'll just be listening to something and I'll be like, yeah, I'll just chuck it in that playlist or I'll just chuck it in that. So it just becomes like time periods of what I was listening to for like those couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then when it gets to like 40 or 50 songs, to the point where if I skip through it, I start to hate everything. And that's when I go, right, new playlist. And I'll just start adding whatever takes my ear to it.
Yeah.
It's like this new one, it's mental.
That's so interesting. I have been through your Spotify and like gone into your playlist. That's such an interesting thing, trying to like identify what someone's playlist is and what it means or what it's meant for, because it can just make absolutely no sense.
Like all the names and stuff. Like I've got my sleep playlist because I've recently figured out Spotify's got a sleep timer. So like
really?
I'll just put.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that.
Bro, it's great. It's like you tap the wee 3 dots and then you go down. It's got sleep time. You can pick like 30 minutes or whatever, then it goes off.
Oh,
It's awesome.
dude, I have a whole separate app for doing that.
Bro, it's on there.
God damn it. Do you have like sleep tunes that you play?
Yeah, I've got my like wee sleep playlist. It's like Dido and
Dude, I need to get on that.
like the I'm God beat. That's on there.
Yeah,
Because they
classic.
put that Clams beat on Spotify.
Sick.
But there's just heaps of stuff in there that's all, I don't know.
Yeah, I went to see
Sleeping
Clams
easy.
Casino at Laneway when he was here. and that was so sad because his set only lasted like 2 songs.
Really?
He got there, and the opening track was crazy, super hype, massive mosh, and then got like halfway through the second song, and the set just cut out, like just went completely dead. And everyone was like, oh, like booing him. And it was like, this is not his
that
fault.
Shit sucks, bro.
And then he got in a bit of a huff and sort of left the stage, and like sort of 10 minutes went by, and eventually got it going again. And he came back up and started playing the song again. And then like 30 seconds later, it cut out again, and he just like threw a hissy and just left. He just said, fuck this, and just left. And it sucked because he was like the number one person I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping he was going to play that beat too.
Bro,
So that
sound
kinda
troubles,
sucks.
it's the worst shit ever,
Dude,
man.
and I just know if it was me in that scenario, that would 100% happen to me. It's just anything tech related, there's always something that's going to nip me in the butt.
It's
just-
happened to, like, doing Hames backup stuff for him. It's happened so many times.
Did you have a lot of involvement in the technical side of things?
We've had heaps of trouble before. Like at 1-to-1 festival, like everything was set ready to go, and then we got on stage. Everything sounded great on our end. Like I had this fold back, like right by the deck, so it was just playing everything back to me. I could hear myself perfectly, could hear Haim perfectly, but nothing. Our mics weren't coming out to the people out of the thing,
Jesus.
and like you couldn't tell because like someone texted me from the crowd that I knew saying like, "Hey man, mic's off," and I was like, "What?" Like everything. Like it's hard to work out because everything sounds perfect on stage.
Yeah, right.
But like we just had to like cut
So
it.
you didn't
for a
have
bit.
anyone in the back like mixing or anything?
No, because they're in the tent way away, and there's people on stage. But like there's always like too many cooks spoil the broth or whatever. There's always too many people trying to sort something.
Yeah, too many fingers in the pie.
Yeah. It's like
Oh, that's
shit
a
like that.
shame.
It just sucks because like you get all ready, and it's like all you want to do is just nail it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And yeah, like the thing, people booing you, and it's like,
that's happened before.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's just what can you do?
So
Just-
I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want me to do. Like I'm just. It's not my job.
No, for sure. It's no one's. Well, I mean, it is someone's job, but it's like if you're the performer and you're trying to organise that,
Yeah.
that's immensely frustrating. Especially if you're just about to perform and someone's booing you for technical things. It's like,
Sucks, man.
what are you really here for? But
Soundies underrated.
100%,
They just
100%.
a good soundie, someone who nails it
Yeah.
every time.
Oh, I had Peter Maltese on here, and he
Yeah.
loves it, and that's a big part of why he's so good at it, because he just loves doing it.
Yeah.
It's just his thing, and he's good at it. And he set up a gig at Edjo Cafe down in North East Valley.
Yeah, they're doing a gig there.
Shout out. They did have a gig for their first birthday party.
Oh yeah,
Jeez, that took
because
me
that's
a
a pretty small space.
Oh yeah, but it actually was quite nice. Very, I'll say intimate, because it is quite tight in there. But there was a decent amount of people in there, and enough for it to be gig-esque.
Yeah.
But he did all the setup for that, and it sounded peach, and he was just stoked the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like, this is someone that's meant to be doing
That's
what they're
me.
doing. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's. I tip my hat off to him, because there's not a lot of people that are usually in music. This is purely outside perspective, but not a lot of people get into that side of music.
Yeah,
So
'cause
there's
you-
always-
everyone wants to be a star
For
you
sure,
know?
yeah.
Everyone's got dreams.
So it's just cool to see someone that has that feeling, but actually
Yeah.
towards that side of music,
That side
like the
of- yeah.
mixing and the mastering and
That's
all that sort of
It's
stuff.
kind of like Nick Alexander in a way.
Yeah.
he's deep into that, like just like that side of it. Like
He's
sitting on the
crazy.
computer and
Yeah.
nutting it
It's
out.
sick. I like it. I like the idea of it. I haven't done a lot of it myself, but I've had to be doing a lot of it for the podcast, which is obviously nothing in comparison to music, but it's still figuring out what things do what. And
Yeah.
I can understand why someone would be so invested in this, because it is just so deep, the things that you need to know, and it's just a crazy knowledge base to have.
Massive rabbit hole to go down.
100%, man. Yeah, it's crazy. Have you been watching any of have you been watching any of the NBA camp since they've come back on?
I've been a bit slack. I watched the Trailblazers game today
So,
because it was like if they lost, they were gone.
oh
And
really?
Yeah, it was like the playoff for the 8th in the West. But like I've been keeping up with it and whatnot. It's just great to have it back on.
For sure.
Like I don't know. I think that all the sports are trying to get something going, but the NBA is fantastic, man. They're so onto it. Like as much, they're as onto it as they can be
For sure.
compared to like NFL and those other leagues.
Yeah, the NFL's just opening up again, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a I don't know, it's a bit of a dumpster fire. But
I like the concept of what they've done with the NBA, where they've taken everyone that's involved, tested everyone, everyone's all good, put them into a camp. You can't leave. Excuse me. No one else can come in. It makes sense.
that's great.
But the games are. I wish I could be watching the games. The things that annoys me about being interested in American sports is that they're never on at times that you can actually watch a game.
No,
at least
it's
for
weird
me,
time.
I would love to come home from work and watch like a live NBA game.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work like that. And of course, I could stream things if I can't be bothered. So I haven't really been keeping up with it at all. But I think I like how it is working, and it's actually making the gameplay quite different without having the whole crowd distraction there. You've purely just got the players playing the game. They're probably in a different headspace too, getting the most out of it.
I think the one big thing my boss at work talked to me about, which I didn't even think about, was like there's no travel now. So they don't have to travel. Like the Lakers wouldn't have to travel to New York, which is a massive travel.
So true. I didn't think about that.
You know, there's not that. Because like if you've got back-to-back away games, like you might have to go to Portland and then, I don't know, Texas or like San Antonio, something like that. That's a massive thing to do, and then
that's
play a
pretty
game.
exhausting,
like,
eh? Especially if you're going to the other side of the country, because they've got two time,
Yeah. Like it's crazy.
time zones.
Yeah.
in that country, so you probably get a wee bit jet lag too, especially if you're on the road. That's so true. I never thought about that.
Yeah. So no travel.
So you're pretty much ready to go every game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think the games have all been so close, is because there's nothing. There's
There's
nothing
no real advantage.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping them from being the best that night. You know, from
The
taking
home
their
court
best game
advantage
out
is
there.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've just realised that probably ties into what the home court advantage is. Like it's not just that you're at your home stadium with your home crowd cheering you on. The other team has actually had to make the journey to get here and are probably exhausted from that journey. So you have a physical advantage as well as a mental advantage. Wow, that just put everything in perspective.
It's crazy,
But
man.
yeah, that's really cool. I really should start watching more of it, because now that's, of course, it's getting to the nitty gritty of where we're at in terms of the season.
Yeah.
It'll be really good to watch some games again. But another thing that I've just really lost touch with is watching the NBA. I love the NBA, but I just...
It is. It's. I don't know, because as much as I love basketball, I've always loved basketball, but I always find it hard to sit down and watch a full game. Sometimes
It's long.
You know?
American sports are long.
American sports are pretty long. Basketball's good though; it's fast paced. It's not like
For sure.
I do like American football, but watching a game is pretty hard.
God,
like
watching
just
the
a,
Super Bowl is like...
it's pretty admin. There's a lot of
Snooze.
ads and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like if it's a game, like I think last year I watched like Packers Vikings, and it was like conference finals pretty much. Like, yeah, it might have been, I don't know. I was at Nick and Ruben's watching it anyway in Wellington, and I was just like, I don't know, I was real into it. I wasn't like, God, this is boring, or there's so many ads. It was just like every time they had the ball, or every time the ball was like in play, it was like awesome.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
it was like they both really wanted it that bad.
Yeah.
It's like it made the game more enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, and when it gets to that point of the season, and in particular, of course, the Super Bowl, it's a whole thing. Like it's a concert as well as it is a game, and there's so many people there, and the world's watching. It's a big event, so there's
Spectacle.
that. Yeah, there's that side of it as well as just the game. But yeah, I like NFL too. I quite like watching those games, but. Yeah, again, the only time I really ever watch it is when the Super Bowl's on.
Yeah.
Because it's the Super Bowl,
It's
and
the
it's just
Super
one of
Bowl,
those things to watch. But
It's the Catalina
I
wine.
sort of
makes
have to
it.
catch myself up with how the game is played when I start watching it, because
Yeah,
I know loosely how it works.
Yeah.
But it's a year between me watching a game, so I have to sort of remind myself, okay, what's a first down
Yeah.
and second down and
The other thing with American football is that a lot of people here don't understand it as much. It's like there's
'Cause
so
you
much.
just compare it to rugby. Everyone just
Yeah,
compares
everyone
it to
compares
rugby,
it to
and it's
rugby.
like,
But like
it's not the same.
once you're, I don't know, I'm even like a, what's the word for it? Not like an expert, because like I learnt my shit from like Madden, like playing it that way. But once you like figure out the defenses and what everyone's doing and why they're doing, it's like chess. You know?
Oh, for sure.
It's so much like that, and like all mental and thought rather than just like running into each other, which everyone thinks it is.
100%. Yeah, if you just go into a sport blind, you're really just taking in purely what is happening then and there. You're not.
Yeah.
You're just watching. If it's ball sports, you're just watching where the ball's going and who's got it and whether someone's made a point.
And if someone like say doesn't cover someone or like there's like a receiver wide open, you'll be like, oh god, the defense is bad.
Yeah.
But there might be something in that, like that guy might have meant to be marking someone else, but they've had to switch onto that person. There's like so much that comes in with defense and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the way they run it with
and
zones and whatnot.
And like fantasy leagues, like college basketball fantasy leagues and that sort of thing in America are massive too, and will be for that reason as well, because they know how to strategize a team and how it's all going to work and what is going to benefit the team whatever way or players and that sort of thing. It's crazy how in depth statistically American is with their sports. Americans are with their sports.
It's crazy, man. Like NBA, we're getting like advanced statistics in, so like working out player efficiency, that sort of thing. So like
I don't understand.
It's like when someone's got the ball, like how I think it's
the odds of them scoring or making a play off that position.
I think it is, yeah. So they somehow calculate a percentage out of every time they have the ball and what happens from that.
God,
which is crazy.
I think that is one of the huge differences between New Zealand culture and American culture is the stats side of things. Like whenever I'm with my dad watching a rugby game, we're not looking at the stats of those players or that game.
No.
Number one, there isn't a lot of stats really to be had in that game anyway, but it's like, most of the time people watching American sports like NBA or NFL or whatever are looking for those stats the whole time. They're not necessarily watching the game.
Yeah.
But the difference is you can come halfway through a rugby game and only know what's happened by what the score is on the board.
Yeah.
If you come into an NBA game a quarter and 3/4 in, you can look back and see what everyone else has done.
See how the game's been
Yeah,
going
exactly. And you can almost come up with an idea in your head about how the game's being played. Obviously not physically, you can't see the plays that have happened.
But you can
get a
work out
grasp
what's
on
been
who's
going
doing well and why the team is working a certain way.
You can just look at the
very
box score and see
interesting.
who's got
It's
the
almost
points, who's got the
another.
assists.
It's almost another thing. Aside from the sport itself, it's just a whole nother dynamic of that makes it so much more, I guess. I was going to say investing, but immersive is the word I was looking for. Yeah. And that's interesting. You say you learn a lot about the sports from video games.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the best ways to learn without actually playing the sport, because all of those stats are given to you then and there, and you're learning things based on what the game is telling you to do.
Yeah.
I think I definitely know a bit more about basketball from playing 2K.
Yeah. I feel like I've learned so much. Like, it even goes back to music, man. You think about like the old Tony Hawk soundtracks, like playing Tony Hawk's, like, I think I played Tony Hawk's 1 when I was like, I don't know, maybe like 7.
Yeah.
Like real young. But like the music from that is music I'd listen to now.
Yeah.
It's like it enters your life some way or another.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got so much from video games. Even like GTA, San Andreas. Every radio station you go to on that is great. Like great music.
Yeah, man.
That's like trickled over.
Yeah, I love those games. I'm not a huge gamer, but the thing I like about video games is, I'll use the word again, the immersive side of the game. Like playing GTA, I don't have it anymore. But when I did, the only thing I didn't play any of the missions or anything. I just liked like pulling someone out of a car, jumping in the car and just fucking
Peeling
around,
out.
like changing radio stations and just like driving around.
Go and put like
It's
a
just
full
like a
body
whole
kit
nother
on the
world
car.
to go into.
Yeah.
It's
There's so much you can do.
I love sports games though. Sports video games are probably the main thing I play.
Yeah.
But those kind of games, those RPG games, not that I play a lot of them, but I like that concept of them. I think I like the idea of a video game more than I actually like a video game, because like some days I'll be at work and I'll be like, oh man, I actually really want to play a video game when I get home today, but then get home and be like, nah, watch a movie.
Yeah. I don't know. It just depends what you're into, really. Like, you can find it's just like a movie.
Yeah.
You can find a movie that really grips you and then you're in it. It's like, I don't know, I played Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
And that was like that was mind-blowing.
Supposed to be good.
It
Yeah.
was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like, it was all the graphic stuff is crazy, and then the story that goes along with it ties into the first Red Dead. It's just all great.
The
It's fantastic.
tricky thing is with video games, and the difference between that and movies is that if you want to, like, obviously in some cases there are demos that you can get for those games, but a lot of the time you just have to buy that game to know what it's like. Whereas a movie, you can stream a movie, whatever. Like, obviously you pay for your Netflix subscription, but you've got
ample choice.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. You know, you're not really deciding about whether you're going to get something or not.
Well,
That's part of the reason.
they're bringing out like new things. Like it's called Game Pass or whatever, and it's pretty much Netflix for games.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like
Is that coming out with like the new Xbox and PS5?
it's already going.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
sick.
can like you pay like a fee or whatever. Then there's all these games. You just download them. And you can
So
play it. It's
that
pretty-
makes so much more sense.
It's crazy. There's a lot of trash on there though, just like Netflix. There's a lot of
Oh,
trash movies
for sure.
and whatnot.
For
but
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get the top of the line, like top new. It's just exactly like Netflix. You know?
Yeah.
You don't get
You're not
the
getting
new
the
James
blockbuster
Bond
movie. Yeah.
when it's at the theaters. You know.
Yeah. But still, the concept as a whole just makes more sense because you can just try things out and actually
Yeah.
figure out what it is that you do like about
That's
a
pretty
game.
good.
I ended up selling my Nintendo Switch because exactly that reason. It was like I really wanted one to play this game.
Yeah.
Forked out $500 for the console,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, well, I have to fork out another $100 to get this game that I want to play.
Yeah.
And just never ended up doing it. Never had the money that I wanted to spend on it. So I was like, I never use this thing. I'm going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
That would make so much more sense. And like, it'd be interesting to see what the prices of the new Xbox and PS5 are going to be like, because if they are fairly low, then it would make more sense to put your investment into games alongside the console rather than like saving up for the PS5 and then having to save up for a game. Just sort of makes no sense. Did you see the Skate 4 announcement?
Yeah. Have you played like the other skater games that are coming out? Because it kind of pisses me off how they're announcing Skate 4 now.
Why is that? After all these other ones are coming
After all these other ones have
Yeah.
done all the hard work of getting the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And now EA's like, wow, finally, we're going to bring back the game you all want. It's like, God, these other like two
everyone's
tiny
been asking for
studios,
it.
you know, it's always
Yeah.
the big person eating off the small person.
For
you know?
sure, yeah.
like-
That's so true. I never thought about it like
These
that.
two small, because there's like Skater XL and Session.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, I love the skate games. They're so much fun. But like, there's like Skater XL and Session.
Yeah,
And like,
they look really nice.
yeah, I bought Skater XL. It's heaps
Oh,
of
yeah.
fun. Heaps of fun.
On
It's like-
Xbox?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like very similar to Skate. Like it's definitely not, even though they call it like the 1.0 build or like the full game, it's not quite there. Like there's still heaps of glitches and
For
whatnot.
sure. But they've got it out there, I suppose.
Yeah, it's out there and it's as close to a full game as I think they'd get at the moment.
Yeah.
But obviously I bought it with the hopes that there's going to be more content. So
Yeah.
like they'll keep updating it and adding more maps, adding everything else as it goes.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I actually played one of the two on the weekend. I'm pretty sure it was Skater XL. My buddy Liam might have been Dan. Anyway, a buddy of mine had bought it.
Yeah.
And I played it. And obviously used to Skate 3 controls going into that was kind of like, this seems backward.
Yeah.
And it kind of made sense, but it was still like,
It's real tough to grasp it.
oh, yeah,
Like-
you'd have to give it a couple of days. And of course, I wasn't going to do that in a night, but instantly I was kind of like, nah, it feels weird.
Yeah, I
like,
felt
it
the
looked
same, man.
awesome. But I feel like with Skate video games, it's never going to be perfect. It'll be interesting to see what Skate 4 looks like. Because Skate 3 is pretty not realistic. Like, I still much prefer the look of Skate 3 than those other two Skate games. When the trailer for Session came out, I was pretty excited. That looked really nice. But then seeing actual gameplay, it was like, this doesn't actually look very good. And I think it's because of the way that the controls are, where you have actually two joysticks controlling two different movements rather than one joystick
Doing
like you do
everything.
in Skate.
Yeah.
It actually sort of changes some of the animation, so it actually kind of looks weird sometimes. And obviously, like you say, these games are in sort of early stages or have been, but it's kind of like, this just seems a bit odd. And the camera angles and things as well. I was like,
It's just different to what you know.
yeah.
Like I was like that when I first started playing the Skater XL. Like, was a bit weirded out by the controls as you would be, because like we've been playing Skate for how many years now since it came. I think it came out 2010, so it's probably like 10
I
years
think
old.
that's right. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's just I've lost my train of thought.
No,
But
it's one of those things. Yeah, I really like the skater games. I think they're really cool, and I wonder what they will do differently in Skate 4 from Skate 3. I mean, you hope you get more maps and that sort of thing, but I hope they don't change too much in the gameplay, because I don't know what it is that people want. You know, when they're asking for Skate 4, like I want Skate 4, but I don't know why I want Skate 4
I know
because
exactly
I've got
why I
Skate
want
3.
Skate 4.
Please.
It's because Skate 3, if you played 1, 2, and then 3, like 1 was so fantastic, but you couldn't get off your board.
Right.
And then 2 was like, you could get off your board. The map is probably the best version of a map they've
Yeah,
had.
I've played 2. I remember the maps.
Yeah, the map was because it all joined. It's all one big thing. We like skate through. It's 3 separate things, and if you want to go to the downtown bit, you have to pause the game and then drop your character there instead of being able to skate there. So that was one big problem. But like, I feel like that the actual skating in Skate 2 wasn't quite nailed. It was still a bit glitchy, and then they finally nailed all the skating, like how your character skated in Skate 3. They nailed that, but then they fucked up the map because they didn't make it one big thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean one big thing? Like just having one whole map that you can go everywhere rather than
you want to be able to
jumping
skate from
between
top to
places.
bottom.
True.
And then
okay, I
you
see.
find the best bits going off the beaten track.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like there was so much in Skate 2 that like there's like so much hidden wee things. Like that's the best things. Like there's one bowl that I know about. It's like off the city hall, and you go up these stairs. It's like hidden. It's like a wee alley.
Yeah.
You go up there, and there's this like mint bowl.
Yeah.
It's like that sort of thing is what made
So
Skate
it's
2
the
heaps
journey
of fun.
rather than just the gameplay.
Yeah,
as
but then
well.
you get there and you
Yeah.
shred it, and it's heaps of fun.
Sick. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, well, I hope they do something like that. I wonder, there's obviously a very big, demand for it, and people are wanting it
There's
for
been
particular
demand for
reasons.
so long.
surely they're going to take into account. It sounds like it's not going to be out for ages, though, because they've only just said that they're going to start doing it. So it's
Yeah.
like, we're getting it, but we still have to wait another
Whatever.
2 years
Yeah.
or whatever it's going to be for them to do that.
But then because it's EA, they'll release it, and then there'll be like wee microtransactions in it. Like, you want this board? It's $1.30.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
right.
that's what's ruining
That's how they
games at the
fuck you.
moment.
Yeah.
That's why-
Fortnite was bad for that, Just
that's like the whole
making you
premise
pay
of
for all the
Fortnite.
costumes
But like
and stuff.
at the end with Fortnite though, you didn't have to buy the game. So
Right.
like you download it for free, and if you want to play it, you can play it as much as you want for free.
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
true.
beauty of it.
That's
It's like if you wanted all the extra shit, you pay
Yeah.
for it. Whereas now it's like 2K, if you do like a My Career, so you make your guy, you try and make the NBA, and you get him better or whatnot. Like to actually play the game from start to finish without paying money is admin.
Yeah.
Like they make it a hell of a grind, and they do that on purpose so
Yeah.
that when you look at how much it is to pay for like VC to like get your guy better, it's like $8 for like 15,000 or something
God.
like that.
Yeah.
And like that gets you good. Doesn't even get you guy good.
And that'll
you
add
know?
up too if you're doing that all the time as well.
Yeah. And then like I don't know, you've already bought this game for $100 and you sink another like $60 into it. It's bullshit, man.
Yeah, that
you
is
should
bullshit.
just, if you're paying like $100 for a game, you should.
That was my point before, man. It's like,
Yeah.
if I've already paid this premium to get the game in the first place, why do I have to pay for all this other crap on
bullshit.
top of it as well?
Sucks, bro.
But
It's
you'll
ruining it.
probably still see a lot of that in the streaming service that you're talking about. Like, yes, it's cool. You pay a price and you get access to more games.
Yeah.
But there'll probably be a lot more in-game purchases in those games now. Or people will realize if they're going to have some sort of deal with this streaming service,
Yeah.
they're probably not going to get the full amount that they usually would if someone was buying that game. So they're probably going to have to add things to the game that makes you buy it. So, I mean, you got to think of it like, I don't really know how Netflix works in that regard in terms of like, because obviously they make a shitload from their subscriptions and things.
Yeah.
But my $12 a month surely doesn't really cover the cost of all of the movies that I've
Everything.
been watching. You know, my contribution, if you were to
Yeah.
break it up to the amount of movies that I watch on Netflix on a monthly basis versus that $12, whatever it is that I pay for that,
Yeah.
how does that money sort of get back to the people that are working, or is it Netflix that like pays the
I don't know, I think
movie rights to...
They might, but I feel like they might even. Actually, I've got no idea, but I'm going to make a guess.
Yeah,
I feel like
please.
they might just buy like a lump group of movies off of, or like a franchise even, off of like the company.
That's
or
what I've
whoever.
noticed. Like, I think you're actually probably right there, because I've noticed, like, at the moment, I'm going through a binge of Mark Wahlberg movies.
Yeah, fair.
Because they're all on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I sort of realized, oh my God, the more Mark Wahlberg movies I watch, the more Mark Wahlberg movies get recommended to me. And I
Yeah.
sort of I went and typed in Mark Wahlberg, and I swear his whole, I was going to say discography, his whole,
Filmography.
yeah, is on there. And it's like, surely there's some deal that's gone on here to get all his movies on
Yeah.
here. And same with Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
Pretty sure
yeah.
all of his films are on Netflix as well.
Pretty
They'd just
much.
be, and a lot of his newer ones are Netflix deal movies too.
Yeah.
So I'd say they've probably just gone, all right, well, we're your label or whatever now, so
Pretty
all your
much.
stuff's going to be on here. So there would have been some deal that's gone down beforehand.
Yeah.
And then Netflix will just be, I guess, earning their money back from our subscriptions. But
Yeah. I think it depends on the actor. Because, like, Adam Sandler, I think, I don't know if I'm 100% right, but he's got part in running that Happy Madison, which is the production company that
Yeah,
did
yeah.
like all of those
Yeah.
like great Adam Sandler films.
That's right,
And that's
yeah.
all on his account. I don't know if he's gone to like, I don't know, Warner Brothers or something like,
Yeah.
hey, I want to make this movie.
Mm.
And then he's like tied in with a contract with them. I think it's all under him. So that's
Yeah.
why he'll be able to sell it to Netflix. And then they've got it.
Well, most of his movies, I think, in recent years, he has produced and directed a lot of them as well. Well, not mainly producing, but a lot of them are his movies. So there must be something at play. I don't know the logistics of it either,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that'd be a crazy deal. I can imagine a Netflix deal is going to be pretty significant.
You'd get the bag.
Yeah. Oh,
You'd
for
definitely
sure.
get the bag.
Yeah. That's a really cool thing to be a part of. I really admire actors, and I always look at actors in movies and think it's one of those things. I don't do it a lot in creatives, like music and other people's art and things. I never look at and go, oh, I could do that. But sometimes I watch movies and I go,
Maybe.
I feel like I could act better than this person, or
Yeah.
I could do what they're doing. But there's obviously it's one of the things I don't know anyone that's an actor. I've never sort of had an inside look into how an actor's life is.
How you'd get from that point to
Yeah.
like making money off it. To
Yeah,
get to
exactly,
like that point.
exactly. And like
Yeah.
it's probably a lot easier in America because that's sort of part of the dream and that is to become an actor.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's not so plausible. So like trying to start an acting career here, I suppose you'd have to sort of go through theatre and things. But yeah, I just sometimes some movies I go, oh, I could definitely do that. But you never know until you're there at an audition or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and you seize up or whatever, and you go,
I still
okay, I
don't
see why.
quite know what separates I kind of know what separates a great actor from a good actor, but I don't quite know the difference between a good actor and a bad actor.
But you know when you see a bad actor.
You know when you see
you know when you see a good actor.
Yeah. That in between is still grey as for me.
Oh, it depends. Like, I've seen some pretty bad acting recently. Like, a good example for me, I'm super biased in this opinion, but a good example for me of a bad actor that is a good actor, to me, is Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
So she can act, sure. And she's got the whole look, the whole persona of an actor. But to me, I just can't watch her movies.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like there's just something in the way that she acts. And it's usually
it's not
similar
believable
characters.
for you.
Yeah, it's just that wee bit off. There's
Yeah.
just something about her. Another example is Anne Hathaway. I don't know if you've seen her in many movies, but
She's in Princess Diaries, eh?
yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
In that movie, she's not actually too bad, but she's in. What was she in? I'm pretty sure it's something with Rowan Atkinson. I don't know if it's a Johnny English movie or some other sort of Asian movie that they're in. But her acting in that, I was
bad.
like, oh god,
Yeah.
like it wasn't. I wouldn't say it's bad, but you could it's just a wee bit over the top. Like it's just acting just a wee bit too much. I think that's what it is.
You're
Like,
kind of aware that she's acting.
and it might have
that
just been
takes
the
away
role that she was in that she just couldn't really execute it precisely. And that's the thing, like the director might have thought that's exactly what they wanted, or the casting director thought, yeah, that's the character we want. But to me, it was like, I just feel like she doesn't suit this character at all. But that being said, those two women have obviously had prolific careers and have done very well and are, good actors for the most part. But just to me personally, and perhaps some others,
doesn't click.
there's just a wee bit, there's something there that's just unnatural.
I guess it's just like music and anything creative in a way.
Yeah.
There's always going to be musicians or
Yeah.
artists or just anything that
For
just
sure.
doesn't quite hit with you.
Yeah. And some people really are just born to do that and can fit into any role. Like an example to compare to those actors would be someone like Salma Hayek. Like, I feel like do you know who she is?
Wow, what does she look like?
Oh, I'm sure you'd
I know the
recognize her.
name.
Yeah. She is an actor that I think is pretty authentic in all the roles that she plays. I don't actually know how to spell her name there.
Salma Hayek.
She's pretty popular, man. I'm sure
Oh,
you
yeah.
know her.
What is she in?
Oh, dude, she's in
Is she in like Spy
heaps of
Kids?
movies. I watched her recently in. Is she in Spy Kids?
Maybe.
But she was in something I watched recently. Oh, how do I go to movies? That I was like, it was with Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds. I think it was called The Hitman's Bodyguard. This one here.
Yeah.
She was just
Good.
Oh, she's just good. She's
Yeah.
just meant to. She was like this crazy wife that was like in jail while these guys were out doing all these killings and whatever.
Yeah.
And she's just. It just makes sense for her to be in that role. And every
Yeah.
other movie that I've seen her in, she plays like a mum in the what's that movie with Adam Sandler?
Grown
The
Ups.
Grown Ups. So right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And she just, that's completely contrasting character, but she just does it so well. Like
Yeah.
she just fits into both those roles perfectly. I think she's fantastic.
Yeah, I
and
know
that's
what you
not a super biased opinion because I wouldn't say I am a huge fan of her, but every time I've seen her in a movie, it's like, yep, she can act.
Yeah.
Like she can do that role.
Yeah.
She can do whatever. It's great.
Yeah.
What kind of movies do you like?
Ah.
Because I've sort of recently figured out that I like action kind of movies. Like I used to sit down and be like, oh yeah, this movie looks good, and it's like a big shoot 'em up movie.
Yeah.
But I end up watching like a Grown Ups or something,
Yeah,
like just
yeah.
a real easy comedy. And
I
recently
always
have
end up
been
watching
like,
like easy as comedies
oh,
or something.
it's
like-
so easy, you know,
Yeah,
because you
it's
can
easy
just
as.
blob and go right. It's I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
But recently I've been like, no, fuck it, I need to watch like some proper movies. So I've
Something
been watching
good.
like big. I call them shoot 'em up films. It sounds corny, but
Yeah.
big
That's
shoot 'em
pretty
up
much what they
films
are.
and like Scarface and
yeah,
Casino,
yeah.
like those kind of Oliver Stone movies as well.
Yeah.
They're just,
I still need to watch
a bit
The
more intense.
Godfather.
Same,
I
dude.
haven't
That's in
watched
my
that.
playlist.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm gonna watch that very, very soon. But
So-
I think that's one of those cult classics that you just have to watch.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm slowly just trying to tick off all those ones. The ones that
For sure.
are absolute must watches.
Yeah,
and then just,
Goodfellas, Scarface was another
those
one
ones.
as well.
Like
Yeah,
slowly ticking
fucking
them off.
classics. Yeah.
Um,
I have a sort of thing with some 80s movies where sometimes the aesthetic of an 80s movie is just
is
like
it
it's
too old?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
man. Sometimes it is just too old of a movie. Like that
Yeah.
movie could have been so much better if it was like in the 90s
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
early 2000s, but it was just a wee bit too old where they sort of didn't have the tools that we would have now or at a time where it would have been better
Yeah.
just to make it that wee bit peachier, you
Yeah,
know, sort
yeah.
of like later 70s, early 80s. Some of those movies are fantastic. Like all of those Godfather movies, they're really late movies, but and I can't say about The Godfather because I haven't watched it, but just watching Scarface is a good example of a good movie. I'm pretty sure that's from the 80s.
Yeah,
but like
it will be.
the camera work is done really well. Like it's just one of those really cinematic movies that's just 1983. So it's shot really well. Like there's nothing. It seems it's all authentic. But there's some movies, where it's just slightly on the corny side,
Yeah.
and like sometimes the dialogue is just a wee bit off, and that can come down sometimes to just how the actors are playing that role.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just a wee bit like
I
you
know
get
what you
sort
mean.
of part way through it and you go, no, can't do it.
I was definitely started like a couple movies before, and you're kind of watching. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't know. This might just be that wee bit
Yeah.
too old.
I've rarely done it, but there's been some instances where I've started a movie, got like 10, 15 minutes in and just go, no.
Yeah.
Like I probably could stick this out and I might be okay, but no.
That was the last movie that really fucked me up.
What's that?
Notting Hill.
Oh, with
Hugh Grant. Shit, man. That
Like-
honestly set me on my
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen that.
man. It was so good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
with what's her name? Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
No, I have seen that. That's the one where she's like the big celebrity, right?
Yeah.
And he
He works at a travel book shop.
What was it about it that blew you
Well,
away?
we were up at Hames one night and we're like, we're going to watch a movie. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, every time you sit, I don't know if this happens to you, but when we all sit around as a group and try to pick a movie, someone will like highlight something and be like, oh, this is actually really good. I watched this like a few
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah.
And then someone will be like, nah, seen it. Nah. Like it always happens. But Haim was like, nah, because like, he's like,
Got to do it.
yeah, I don't know, he's kind of into this like
Oh,
rom-com type
rom-coms
shit.
are great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
He's pretty into it, so like I've never really got that into it.
Yeah.
But he's like, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna watch Notting Hill.
That is a good rom-com. Yeah.
yeah. And he's
that's
just
a
like,
good movie.
we're doing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really want to watch this. I just watched like Grown Ups or something like. But he put it on, and I just instantly got hooked.
Yeah,
and then
it's good.
watched it, and I just couldn't believe it.
Again,
it was
it's just
honestly
good.
top 3 for me.
Oh, yeah. That's a great film. And a great example of fantastic storyline, great direction, great acting. Just all
Believable.
comes together. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
believable because their characters are just so like, yes, this is really what it would be like if you were dating a celebrity.
Yeah.
And just, it's just on the cusp of the 90s. Like, it's just as the 90s were ending. So it's got that
That's perfect.
feel to it, you know.
Perfect, man.
No, not that it would have been any different if it was 2000, but you can call it a 90s film and it just has that 90s feel to it. Yeah,
I
It is a good
don't know.
film.
I just think they completely nailed anything.
Oh, 100%.
Everything. I can't think of anything wrong with it.
Dude, rom-coms are another genre of movie that was like a go-to for me.
Yeah.
Like, aside from those like shitty Adam Sandler comedies, like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
putting on a rom-com, again, it's just like those easy watches. Like part of the reason why I never watched like the Godfather films and that sort of thing is because it's like,
It seems heavy.
oh yeah, and obviously like the great part about them is that they've got them on your seat sort of thing. But
Yeah.
that was why I didn't want to watch them because it was like I don't want to be on the edge of my seat. Like,
I just
I
wanna
don't
chill
want
out.
to. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
relax. Like, but that's what I've realized with watching so many of those kind of movies recently is that, damn, that is you sort of pass the point. If you're not used to that kind of film, you pass the point where it is you're on your toes because you sort of know those sorts of things are coming.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can ease into it. So I can easily watch those kinds of movies now and be like, oh, dude. You want to know the last movie that fucked me?
Yeah.
Fuck, what was it called? I actually talked to Liam about this in the first episode. It's got Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio.
The Departed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you seen that?
Great.
Holy fuck, that
And
is
it's
a
like
good movie.
two different stories, like two
and that
different things
really
happening at the
fucks
same
you.
time.
That is a definition of a movie that fucks you.
Yeah, they're all fucking with each other. It's crazy.
Oh, dude. And the whole storyline, like there's a gang member in the police force and
Yeah.
then there's a police officer inside the gang. It's like, holy fuck. It really is one of those tense stories where you just, someone's going to fucking die at
It's
some point,
awesome,
man.
bro.
Holy fuck. Oh,
That was when I feel
209
like I put it off for ages. There'd been times I could have watched it, I didn't, and then when I
Yeah.
finally did, I was like, God, you're an idiot.
I've been learning about these kind of movies through Netflix too, because they just, you just get popped up. And I've been skimming over them because there's a side of Netflix where you just sort of feel like it's just a Netflix film.
Yeah.
But then one like this sort of sneaks in, and I didn't know about it, but I was like, The Departed. Oh my God, Matt Damon. Oh my God.
Leo.
Leo,
Yeah.
fucking everyone's in that movie. And I was like, this has to be a good film. And yeah, it fucked me. It was crazy.
It's awesome, eh?
Such a good film. I love Matt Damon. And Mark Wahlberg's in this too.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Have you've seen Good Will Hunting?
Yeah, oh, fuck yeah.
Fuck,
a
that's
couple of
probably my
times.
favourite,
That's a
eh?
good film. That's
Shit, that's
that's
probably
one of those
so good, man.
hearty, yeah. Yeah, Matt Damon's fantastic. I love his whole Boston dynamic. But I
Yeah.
feel like Matt Damon, as good of an actor as he is, I feel like you are watching Matt Damon every time you watch a Matt Damon movie, you know?
That
And same
makes
with
sense.
Mark Wahlberg, like, especially in the movies that he's done in the last 5 to 10 years, like, you're pretty much getting Mark Wahlberg playing Mark Wahlberg each
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, he's just sort of adopted this thing, apart from perhaps like those Daddy's Home movies.
Yeah,
That's sort of
yeah.
Mark Wahlberg in a different light. But, and Ted, I suppose, is another example of him. But all of his, like, serious movies, like, I watched him in Shooter last night. Like, I've watched tons of movies with him in that kind of role, and it's just like, it's just Mark Wahlberg. I'm just
Yeah.
watching Mark Wahlberg in all of these movies.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, and then you can definitely act.
I feel like Mark Wahlberg is right.
And when you're in so many movies, probably does come a point where it's like, how can I play this person any differently than how I played any other? And especially someone that's in a movie like The Shooter, where you're in a scenario where you're either like a cop or, in the army or whatever it is, you've got a gun in your hand. Like,
Yeah.
that's a type of person. Like, it's got to be pretty hard to sort of like spread that kind of character out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But, dude, yeah. Fucking great movie, The Departed. Recommend
it's
to
good.
anyone. I won't spoil anything, but damn, that's a fucking good film.
Yeah.
Whew. All right, I might take another pee break.
All right.
Anyway, so are you working on any paintings at the moment? Like, have you got anything that you're in the midst of? And are you working with like pretty large canvases at the moment, or are
Yeah.
you even working on canvases?
Yeah. So still on canvas. I don't know. I like it big. I always think big is better.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Like when you see like a big one in a gallery, you kind of
Fucks
like,
you.
like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Whereas it's just seeing like a small, like, I don't know.
I fully understand that, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's so much better in terms of like the process to use your whole body. You know? Actually,
it's
like
just the more space as well. Like I'm not
For
that
sure.
I'm not that much of like an intricate person.
No.
Like even the way I paint and shit is pretty like loose and
structure.
yeah, well, it doesn't even have any structure. I don't think. I kind of just whip it on.
Yeah.
Where it goes, and if it's, it doesn't have to be perfect. Well, it never is perfect because I like the imperfection in it.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't know. Yeah, I just keep it big just because it's, more space to work with and you can
Keeps
always...
your mind open, I think, when you've got
Yeah.
a larger space, larger something to look at and be like, okay, right, where
Yeah.
can I start, rather than be like, how would I get this into here?
Yeah.
I've worked on a lot of smaller canvases recently, and I think it's just because I have them.
Yeah, yeah.
And like getting a big canvas isn't always cheap, and it's sometimes quite an effort. Like you can almost, I don't know how long it takes you to finish a painting, but for me, I don't go any longer than a day. So if I'm committing to a canvas sort of that size,
Yeah.
it's I've got to commit my day to that.
Yeah.
Not a whole day, but at least an afternoon to be like, right, I've got to
Do it all now.
I've got to put something all on here.
Yeah.
Now.
I didn't know you just did everything in the day.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
because I'm using oil paints. Actually, that's kind of the anti of the point I was going to make. But I kind of, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain the way that I paint.
It's
but
hard. It's hard to put what's in your head into
It's,
words.
it's really weird, and sometimes there's nothing in my head, and that's the thing. Like it's just what happens. Like the only thought that goes into what I'm painting is the colors that go on the palette. Everything else is just like,
yeah,
it's just on. But because I'm using oil paints, so that doesn't actually make any difference as to why it would take me a day or less. But I just the kind of the whole concept around what I'm trying to achieve with painting, or what idea I like, or how I like my work to be perceived, is that it is all done then and there. It's not sort of like a strung out thought or anything.
Yeah.
It's just me in that, as corny as it is, I don't like saying it, but in reality it is just what I'm feeling at the time.
Yeah.
What's happening then and there, the colours that are appealing to me at the time that I put them on the palette.
Yeah.
The only real thought, I guess, is what the figure is doing and how they're going to look, or their proportion, I guess, in comparison, their scale, I suppose, in comparison to the canvas. But yeah, I don't do any longer than a day.
Crazy.
I just remembered the reason why. So because oil paints take longer to dry,
Yeah.
if I want to come back to something, like if I end up filling a canvas with an image and then decide, I might come back to this later. If I do come back to it later, it depends whether I want to be working again with it dry or wet. So I can do something and walk away for an hour and come back and the paint will still be wet. So if
Yeah.
something's in a way that I don't like, I can fix that because the paint's still wet.
Yeah.
But if I want it to be dry to do another layer, I've got to wait like a week,
Yeah,
a decent week for that to be dry again, to start again, which I don't want to have to be doing because I've passed it. Like once I've done that
forgotten
first
about
layer, that painting is done as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned. I have done it. The only time I've done it is when I ended up doing the painting and I didn't like it, and it was just been sitting on the floor, and I come back in and I just put it back on the easel and I just throw something on top of it to see sort of what happens. But that's probably the main reason, because once oil paint dries and you try to paint over it again, it doesn't blend like it does really look like you've painted over a painting. It's bizarre.
Makes
So
sense.
that's why I don't touch it. And yeah, that was the main premise, is just to do it all then and there. And that was today's painting sort of thing. Yeah. And I like the quick result, I suppose.
Yeah, that's fair.
And there's not a lot of detail that goes into it. And I could see why someone would take so long to do like a landscape painting, because there's so much attention that's going into it.
Yeah.
It's going to take you a long time. Whereas I'm just filling the canvas as quickly as I can. Not that I'm rushing it, but it's getting
It's just
filled
the way you
quickly,
work.
and it's just the image is forming as I'm putting the paint on. So if I don't know what I'm actually doing, I'll just grab the color that I liked looking at
put
the
it on
time
there.
and just start painting it on.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And you've sort of got a similar way of doing it too, don't
Pretty
you? Like
much,
when you
yeah.
start layering your canvas, you're just sort of putting the colors on at random.
Yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
I'm
Like,
sorry, that's a presumption. I don't know how you actually.
no, that's along the lines. Like I used to just pick like 3 colors and then bang, like start with making like the sort of blockish forms that like the base layer.
Yeah.
So I'd always start that way, but I don't know. It's just sort of changing with time. Like I've taken the color out and it's gone black, white, and grey,
Yeah.
and then I don't know.
Has there been paintings you've sort of accumulated more layers than you intended? Like you've sort of put down a first layer and realised, I don't like that, and sort of gone all over with white or black again and sort of started fresh?
No, I always
You were stick
cover
with
up
what was
the-
come up.
Yeah, or I just sort of chuck on what comes. Like as it just, I don't know. It just sort of comes to you as it comes. Like
It's like you say, it's weird explaining that process because
Yeah.
sometimes there doesn't have to be a reason for it.
It
You've
just
just done it because
happens that way.
You've saw something that was out of place to your
to whatever fits your image.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
what it
So
is.
you change it and you do, and it is what it is. And
Yeah.
it is what it is. But yeah, I don't like being asked the question, what does it mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but for me, a lot of the time it doesn't mean anything. The only meaning that I get from a painting is whether I like that painting or not,
Yeah.
whether the end result I was really happy with or whether I was not so happy with.
Yeah.
And that sort of plays into how it gets priced too. And, I feel like it's my work. I can price it the way I want. If there's two paintings of the same size and, same size canvas, to me, there's no reason why I shouldn't price this one higher than the other because it means more to me than that one does,
Yeah, that makes
Whereas
sense.
some people might see two works of the same size and say, well, why is this one dearer? And I go, well, that one is
It's just the
special to
way-
me, so I would prefer not to lose it for a small cost,
Yeah,
It's
that
just-
makes sense.
It's just, I don't know if that's fair game, but in my head, it's fair game because it's my work. And
I think that, that
if I'm
is
gonna be
fair
selling
game.
it. It's what it means to me,
That's kind of how I price mine as well. A wee bit like I don't know, like sort of as the bigger in size, the bigger the price.
Yeah,
Is,
that makes sense too.
Yeah, that's kind of how I go about it. But then, like occasionally one will come out, you'll finish one, and you're like, wow, that's really really good.
Yeah.
like compared to other ones you've
Yeah.
done, and that's obviously
That is a personal favourite of mine.
Yeah.
And I want.
So like
Price
that's how
accordingly.
that's how I
Yeah.
sort of priced stuff for that Christchurch gallery was
Mm.
like there was the one that I loved the most, which was the big angel. Like I thought that was so sick.
Yeah.
And so that was the highest priced one there.
Yeah.
And then there was the other one, like the Corolla, which is the exact same size as the angel one, but that was like a couple $100 cheaper, I
Yeah.
think. Just because I don't know.
Yeah.
I still love it, but it's just
It's
I just
not
don't
worth
like
as
it.
much to me as the other one.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
That totally makes sense. And it took me a while to figure out how to actually price work. And I talked a wee bit about this in the podcast, but it's such a weird thing putting a price on something that you've made.
It's hard.
It's hard because you don't want to undersell yourself, but you don't want to put a massive ticket on it that sort of puts people completely off.
Yeah.
Or, there's no valid reason why you put it that high. And for me, all I'm really accounting for is the materials that have gone into it. To be honest, a lot of the time I don't even think about that because I'm not going out of my way to get the nicest things to work with, like the nicest canvases or brushes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that isn't really a big sting to me. The main thing I'm taking into consideration is, materials. I also have studio rent to pay.
Yeah.
So if I do one painting a week and I pay X amount for rent that week, I would like to be able to make that cost back so that
Yeah.
I'm not completely out of pocket, which I have been for a long time. But that's okay because I'm doing the work and I love doing the work. But
Yeah.
that's something I have to consider when pricing it. And then pretty much the rest of it is what that painting means to me and my stature, I suppose, in the realm of the art world, I don't think that you should necessarily price your work based on your, tier, I suppose, or your what's the word I'm looking for? How big of an artist, I suppose, you are.
Yeah.
I don't think that should affect how it's priced. But, if for someone that's like what you were saying when you were first pricing art, you said put $100 on because that seems like a lot at the time.
Yeah.
But then as you progress, you realise could actually be a wee bit more and it sort of accumulates value on its own, whether it's to you or to someone else. But it just becomes this entity that's just... It is a really weird thing. And
It is
sometimes you
pretty
just know. Sometimes you just look at a painting once you're done and go, yep, that's that much.
That's yeah.
And other times you go, or if someone's asked you for a price sort of out of the blue, like if someone has seen something online and they go, hey, I'm interested in this, how much? And you've never really thought about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that is the hardest time to think up of a price for it because you sort of have to give an answer.
Yeah.
And often that's times where you do just know how much it is. You go, oh, yeah, that one, done. You know
Yeah,
what
I
it is.
don't know. I think it comes with like confidence as well.
Yeah.
So like first starting out, obviously no one really knows you paint or you do anything. Like they might see a wee bit on Instagram, but no one really, I don't know, attaches that to you. So they don't really see you as an artist, or they see it as something you've created.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, they're probably not as willing to, or you're like, I found that I wasn't that willing to ask, because I was mostly selling to friends at the start, like people I know.
Naturally.
And I didn't just want to shred them in half, being like, this one's like, you know, $2,000 or something.
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
you know?
for
You
sure.
just want to like,
yeah.
you want to
So
keep
you
it.
put them off forever.
Yeah, you just got to
Especially if
find.
your
You
work's
got
going to stay at that level.
Yeah, you got to find like the medium of like the value to you and how much they're willing to pay.
Yeah.
So like that's something I've struggled with for ages, because like my whole market has been, or like the people buying my shit has been like students. You know, as a student, you got no money. It's like I can't expect someone to rip out like you know, heaps of X amount of money
For sure.
for a painting for something that doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Like it might help, you know, someone might find a meaning in it that helps them with their day-to-day life or whatever,
Sure.
but you know, it's not like a TV or something that you can
And
become.
in the early stages in someone's career, if we're at the age sort of we are now, or younger, and we're just getting into painting, and someone like that, like a student, someone that perhaps really can't afford artwork at all, has a genuine interest in your work, you sort of got that leniency to really cater to them if you want to, and that's the benefit of it being your own business, is that you go, well, you obviously really like this. You obviously, you know, perhaps not always, obviously, but you are not exactly financially stable to afford this.
Yeah.
I've only just started doing this, so perhaps we do it at this price for you because you have the means of doing it. And then that way they get the work and they're happy, and they will talk you up because they know how nice you've been to them, and it gets your name out there, and you've got to start somewhere as well.
And I think you just got to get it out there.
Yeah.
Like, because once it's up on someone's wall, you know, at least 10 people are going to see it.
For sure.
And then
It's
those
a
10
talking
people
point.
are going to look at it and be like, who did that? Or what the fuck is that? Or just
Yeah.
like anything like that, you know?
I think you never learn how to. I don't know the definition of being an artist, and I still don't really even like
Neither
calling
do I,
myself
man.
an artist. But I think that you're probably going to not have a grasp on what an artist actually is if you price if you paint one painting, if you decide one day that you're going to paint something, and you paint that thing and you sell that to someone for 3, 4, 5 grand, you're going to have no idea what it is like to be an artist, because you've just either lucked out or someone has been foolish enough to purchase.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know how to really explain what I'm saying, but if you get the idea straight off the bat that you can sell artwork for that price, without any prior
pitch or anything,
then you're going to continue that methodology, and you're just going to be making the work for a commercial thing. It's going to become a commercial entity rather. Whereas if you sort of grow from the struggle of sort of realizing, okay, I like doing this thing, but people aren't really taking that much of an interest. Is that going to define how I keep doing this? Is that going to make me want to do more, or is that going to stop me dead and be like, well, why would I do it if anyone else is not going to appreciate it? You know?
I don't know. See, I can't. It's hard as because like the thing with like these sort of fields, like creative fields and stuff, it's not like a job where you go and you get told what to do, and then you know there's an opportunity to move up, or you know move up in the job or whatever. You know, it's not like that at all. You kind of just have to figure it out for yourself.
Exactly.
Or go off like blueprints of how other people have done things.
Yeah.
You know? But it just, I don't know, it just depends on how you want to go about it. Because like the one thing I've learned was I did one exhibition at like the train station for, it was like a Edinburgh Realty or something. They sponsor it, and then
that was a couple of years back.
yeah, that was like 2 years ago.
That.
So I remember going to that and looking at my shit, and like that was like I think it was like it was the Passion Pain one I put up in there, and that was like one of the first like proper ones where I like fully booked in and was like, I'm gonna work on this, rather than just sort of like fucking around.
There's something to work towards.
Yeah, here's something like a proper piece rather than just like a painting as per se. But going to like that thing and seeing those people, like the other artists there, was real interesting because like it kind of fueled me in a way, and kind of like a resentment. Like it sounds bad, but like the person who like won the prize, which was like, you know, I really wanted to win it because it's money. It was like a couple grand or whatever, and I was like, I really want to win that. I was looking at the person who won it, and it was this tiny landscape. And at the time, it really pissed me off. I was like, God, this thing sucks, man. Like,
Yeah.
look at this. It's just a like painting of a landscape or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's just what some people do, you know? Like, I feel like if you want something like that, you can go to the warehouse and buy a fucking
Yeah, exactly.
something like that. But I don't know. That's why I try to keep my stuff personable or that people can relate to in a way,
Yeah.
rather than just being a nice picture. You know,
Yeah.
I want someone to get something from it. Whereas, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's tough because you can get stuff you can pick up anything from a landscape.
Yeah.
You can pick up anything from anywhere. It
Yeah.
just depends on how you look at it. I just personally don't find that much in
No,
that sort of
nor do I. I feel
painting.
exactly the same. I 100% agree with you. I think, at least in this country, the art culture that we have here, from my experience in people that have sort of commented on my work or tell me that they like art or have art in the house is usually landscapes and things like that.
Yeah.
The difference between, say, the art culture here and, say, the art culture in, like, New York or probably America as a whole,
Yeah.
or, European countries, is that art here is based around, like, why you see a lot of landscapes and that sort of thing in scenarios like what you're telling there, like that exhibition, is people just like those, especially if they're actual landscapes of places.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the landscape paintings that you see here are paintings of Dunedin. And
Yeah.
people go, oh, I used to live down there, or such
Yeah,
and such.
that's how
or,
they relate to it in their way.
or it's like a dingy old shed on the way to Oamaru or something
Yeah.
that someone's
Like
painted.
remind them
I
of their
remember that.
childhood
Yeah,
or something
exactly.
like that.
And I get that. That
Yeah.
makes total sense, but
Yeah.
that is all that there is.
Yeah. Well,
So that's incorrect. That is
Yeah.
the majority of what you see in art spaces in the city. Is just is that sort of
But
stuff.
it just depends. Again, it depends on the art space. Because, like, after doing that gallery, I knew that's not the path I wanted to go down, or it's not the path that I fitted, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I've just kind of, since then, just gone about it my own way,
Yeah.
and it's working out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I looked at most of my opportunities have come from, like, being friends with the people I'm friends with. You know, people knowing someone or
100%.
meeting someone through music. And that's something I'm real grateful for.
Mm.
It's like, I've had so many opportunities come from this.
Yeah.
But I've kind of figured out that's the path that I can go down.
Yeah.
Or I can, become successful in a way from that.
Definitely.
So that's how I'm going to go about it, rather than trying to fit in with what people
Yeah.
think they like.
Yeah.
I just want
yeah.
to do it my own way, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Absolutely. I think that's the best way to do it. And if you commit to that and you find that is, ends up paying off you in the long term, you're going to turn out a lot better and be a lot more enthused about it than being sort of part of a community. And I don't want to be a hypocrite. I am part of a couple of art communities, and it's great. It's great to be able to have a platform when you don't have a platform at a certain time, to be able to put things up, and that's and that's great. And those communities do fantastic things. And
There's still
support everyone,
there's a lot of
and
people
they're
in
great.
Dunedin out of that, whatever that circle is of
Yeah.
like that sort of thing,
Yeah.
that are doing their own things, holding their own shows and doing stuff like that, which is fantastic.
And I think art just has a very different meaning for some people, and especially people in those groups. Like, I think art, in the way that you're explaining it, sort of taking your own look on it or choosing your own pathway, is what really is going to define someone as an artist, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people in those communities are really just people that have talent, are able to paint things very well.
I have been taught.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just a skill set. I don't necessarily perceive it as art, so to say. Like, it is art, of course, but it doesn't have that raw sort of feel to it, like expression based artwork does. And I'm not saying that my art or your art is superior to anyone else, because this
But
is
it's
where
all
I sort of get it.
opinion, you know?
Yeah, of
It's like
course.
there's-
Art is subjective.
I see some shit and you're just like, I hate that, or
Yeah.
I don't like that, or whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
You can't
you
like
have to be
everything.
able to say that. You can't just be quiet or
Yeah, of course.
whatever.
You
Like-
have to at least be able to look at a painting and realize what it is that you don't like about it, if you don't like it, or
Yeah.
what it is that you really like about it. Like, there was a phase, granted, I haven't been to a lot of exhibition openings recently or any sort of gallery presentations, but the one thing that I tried to do was the exact same. I'd walk into these places and go, no, I don't like any of this, I'm done.
Yeah.
And used to just walk out. But then I sort of went, well, why don't I like it?
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to flip my opinion on it, but if I can at least go, okay, I don't like this because it identifies with a topic that I'm not interested in, or that it's being portrayed in a way that perhaps doesn't appeal to me. I think that's an important thing to figure out, is why you don't like something, not necessarily just sort of shun it. Because going back to your story about doing that child's painting,
The Simple Life,
like, without you telling me that story, I wouldn't understand what it was you were trying to do.
Yeah.
So you can think that way about stuff that you don't like. If you just see it and go, "Oh, that's nothing,"
Yeah.
there could be some whole other thing behind that if it's not presented to you that you just sort of missed, that you could take a whole nother perspective on it.
I think that's what makes a good artist, is someone that can portray that idea and make it resonate with as many people as possible,
100%,
rather than... That's what I felt like. That Simple Life, I love the idea. I thought the idea was great, but looking at the actual painting done, it didn't hit.
Yeah.
You know? It's got to hit.
Yeah.
If it's not hitting, it's not hitting, you know?
I think you should follow that concept though in particular. I do quite enjoy that idea of that nostalgia being presented in that way.
Yeah.
But, it'll come. Like if that's a thought that sticks with you, you'll eventually do something.
If it's in my head, it might linger for might be a year and a half down the line. Do the Simple Life again, it comes out.
Yeah. It's hard to and that is a pretty solid idea if you're trying to really make an image that presents this idea well. That's something you probably do have to put a bit more time and effort into. It's probably not something you could really just slap onto the thing, as expression based as that application probably is in that type of painting, like a child's artwork. Like, it probably does have to go a wee bit deeper than that and have a bit more time put into it. Whereas painting something purely based off expression or a feeling sort of creates its own persona afterwards. You sort of look at it and go, okay, well, what has come out of this? Rather than the other way around. And that's why I try to never think about what it is that I'm painting. And
just let it come out of you.
And that stopped me at the start. When I started painting, whenever it was, a year ago, that was my whole thought process, is like, well, what do I paint? What is it that I do? Where do I even start? And that held me back for so long, and ended up making it actually quite frustrating for me, not actually being able to figure out what it was I wanted to do. And I'll show you some paintings after this, where it's actually, I've just sort of taken what it was that I liked about painting and actually sort of developed a whole new style altogether. Because it was previously based around some sort of figure in some sort of setting or scenario or color scheme. And I've since gone away from that, because the one thing that really frustrated me about it was because the people that I was painting didn't come out anything like what I had in my head. And it just, like, the painting might have been altogether fine, but that one person's expression or something was just so not at all what I envisioned, and it just sort of ruins the whole painting. So that frustrated me immensely. So it's just been sort of being squished down to this idea of taking the application side of things and applying that as a whole, rather than trying to actually define a person's expression in the painting, if that makes sense. You'll see once I show you after. So I've just taken elements of what I like doing in painting and put it into something a wee bit different. So it's exciting to have a new path to follow, but it's endless, man. You can take it any route you want.
Do whatever the fuck you want, right? It's the beauty of it.
One painting might look so different the next day than what it was you did the previous day. It's a cool skill to have.
It's I don't know. I just like the catharsis of it.
I want to know what this word is.
So it's like CATH.
Cathartic. I think you're trying to say cathartic.
I don't know the right. No.
Catholic.
It's got a R in it.
Cathartic.
AR.
I might be thinking lethargic. Cathartic.
Providing physiological relief through the open expression of strong emotions. Catharsis.
Catharsis. Oh, okay.
Great word, bro.
Interesting. Yeah, when you heard it before, I was thinking of lethargic.
Like slow moving and.
Okay.
But that pretty much explains what my paintings
Purification and purgation of emotions, particularly pity and fear, through art or any extreme change in emotion that results in renewal and restoration. Wow. Okay. Crazy.
Good shit, eh?
The more you know.
Yeah, Ruben Brady told me that.
Is that right?
Yeah. We were talking about something.
He's
and then he
quite-
just said it, and I was like, "What the fuck?
What the
did you
hell
just say?
word does that mean?
What did you just say to me?"
Oh man, good shit. Is there anything else you wanted to address, Hamish, in terms of your painting?
Maybe influences.
Yeah, man. Who does it? Actually, that was on my list as well. Who does
Yeah.
influence you? Because I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but when I first started seeing you painting, I sort of thought, Basquiat,
Yep, that's what everyone
that'd
says.
be a big one. Have you
The
looked
biggest.
much into his life and how
Yeah.
he came up?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's pretty fascinating.
he is. There's some people over history that are just hands down the coolest people, and there's no reason why. They just are.
Yeah.
It's like him. It's like Earl. You know, there's just people like that are just so unbelievably cool
Yeah.
in everything they do.
Yeah.
But he is the biggest influence because he tore down the wall in my head of what art is. So like, because I never did it through school. Probably, I think the last time I did art class was like year 8 maybe at Crocker Valley. But I always thought art, I was scared of it because I thought it had to be perfect. Like you had to be like Michelangelo or one of those painters to be a successful, good artist. And then doing that, I did like a Polytech course in 3rd year, that creative studies one. Horrible course, like nothing in it I liked. Actually, it goes back to your point of like having to wait for the curriculum to catch up to what you want to learn.
Yeah.
So like there was all this stuff in there that I wanted to learn, but we had to go through all this like bullshit pretty much. And yeah, but there was in that course there was one tiny wee period where we did art history, and the lecturer went through like old paintings but really quickly, and I just caught this like glimpse of like a Basquiat, and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is that?
Wow.
And then after that class, went home, just started reading, just like, you know, Wikipedia.
Were you painting at this stage?
No.
Oh, so that's what kicked
That's
you
what
off.
kicked it off. Was like, I looked at it and I was like, I could, you know, I understand it. I could probably do that. And then, you know, I was just like, fuck it. Let's start
That's
painting. Because, you know,
Fuck
I
yeah.
need a release.
That is how powerful art can be. It can just take that one person and go, oh, okay, this makes sense.
That's
now.
what it was like.
That's
it was
some
like,
powerful shit.
Holy shit.
Dude, the
this is
exact
possible.
same thing happened to me with this guy, Michael Hafka. He's based in New York, and I've showed people him and say he's very similar to my stuff, at least some of my earlier stuff. But his work did the exact same thing to me, man. I was like,
Yeah.
holy hell, it's so grim and like
Yeah.
just dark sort of stuff, like particularly this sort of thing that really sort of set me off.
Yeah.
Similar, like he gets a lot of his stuff from
It
Basquiat
makes sense.
as
'Cause
well.
I've never known where you get your influences from.
Yeah,
If you don't
well,
know, you don't know. And you're
yeah.
kind of just like,
Exactly.
Wow.
I mean, admittedly, I never really wanted to tell people about this guy because I didn't want people to
you
just
feel ashamed, eh?
Yeah, in a way, you sort of go, well, you know, yeah. If they see that and go, oh, well, that's very much like your stuff. You go, well, you know, you don't want people to think that you're copying anyone, but
Yeah.
that's the whole point of what I was saying just then was that the artwork is powerful enough to get you to start. So like, it's not like you're copying this person. You are just so influenced by it that it's actually drawn you to go out of your way and start
And do
doing
it.
that thing
Yeah.
as well.
And like people, I don't know.
I think there's a fine line between copying and having an influence.
It's a real fine line. It's like my super, super early shit was like, there was bits of Basquiat that I just straight up copied.
Yeah.
Like wee bits here and there that you just like put in. But I don't know, the more people that said like, oh, like Basquiat, whatever, like, I don't know, it kind of eats away at you, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
for sure.
you don't want to like copy someone or feel like you're taking
Yeah.
taking from someone who's like dead or
But
something.
at the same time, that can sort of be something that defines your style as well. Like if you are just painting and you end up sort of looking back at them, or people are saying, well, that just looks like this guy's painting, then you can sort of go, as guilty as you might feel or as saddening as it might be, you can at least then go, okay, well, how can I make this my own and not have it be like them? But you've already got the influence and the skill set
Yeah.
based from that thing, so you can just translate that into something that's more you. And that's what did it for me. I was like, I took all of the application side of things from what Michael Hafka was doing and just put it into my own. And like a lot of my early stuff, it looks just like these paintings.
Yeah.
Because that was what
That's
what
what
appealed
started-
to me.
yeah,
you know?
that's what started
And
it.
I don't think any of my newer stuff is anything like his. Like it's very similar, but I've been able to go. I sort of did it internally. I was like, this is too much like a Michael Hafka painting. So how can I do it on my own
Yeah.
terms. So it's just about developing the skills that you've gotten from that and turning it. And you eventually just sort of shy away from it because you know that it's too similar to that.
But then it's always there with you, but
Yeah.
you're not drawing from it as
Yeah,
much.
exactly.
You know, it's just
Yeah.
it sort of becomes part of it.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, the stuff that I've been coming out with recently is I like it a lot more just because it's really coming from me, but I can still see all my influences or all the people that influence me and the way I like draw eyes or noses or something
Yeah,
is all
for sure.
taken from someone.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's it. Just taking elements from things that you like is a way of developing
Yeah.
your own style as well. But at the same time, man, everyone's a critic. So no matter what you end up doing, someone's always going to find a way to say that it's more like something else, or you know,
People are always going to say what they want to say.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can't help that. But that's another thing that defines you as an artist is how you handle that sort of pressure or talk or whatever it is from
Man.
those kind of people. Whether you shun them or embrace it and let it get the best of you. And
I don't know. It's the best scout thing. It kind of doesn't bother me as much now, but it's so easy for people to say because he's so prominent.
yeah,
Like he is the like when you think of like a messy sort of artist, I don't know who you'd think of. It'd probably be Basquiat, maybe.
he's probably the first that comes to mind for sure.
Yeah. And so,
When I think Messi, I think what's his name? Jackson
Pollock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's messy
That is pretty messy.
by definition, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
In
yeah.
terms of artwork. But yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, well, like it's so easy because everyone knows him. You know, it's easy to be like that looks like that.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, it's kind of taken a compliment in a way.
Yeah. I
don't know.
I immediately thought when we were talking about the fine line between copying and having an influence, the first person I think of when I think of that is Andy Warhol, because I still don't really understand Andy Warhol's art. I've watched a whole documentary on him. I know a lot about his life. I still don't really understand that artwork. Like, how can you just paint the logo of something
Yeah.
and that be the work, or just copy that print over and over?
Guess
It
it's kind
has
of-
a really intricate meaning to it, which I did understand when I sort of had it presented to me, but I still like, how can you just paint something that already is? And
Yeah.
that's, to me, just seemed like copying to a point. I don't know how you feel about Andy Warhol, but
I
it's just
like
something
Andy
I
Warhol.
never really understood how it.
I don't know. There's some things like that where someone gets to that point and you're kind of like why or how.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the time I feel like I just go, well, if they're there, then fuck it.
Yeah.
It's sick. You
Yeah,
know, like
that's true.
if he's doing that and he's got his reasoning or whatever, then you know, like so be it.
Yeah, that's true. And I suppose if there's no copyright things going on as well, you've really got the freedom to do what you do.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't think I know enough about art history to.
Oh, nor do I. Next to
Yeah,
none.
yeah.
And I don't know
Just
how
like
important it is to really have in your repertoire. You
I
know?
feel like if I knew too much, it would fuck with what I do. You
Oh,
know,
100%.
like I'd be thinking
100%.
about too much going
Yeah.
on. That's why I
Yeah.
kind of like my. I don't know. I guess it's like ignorance is bliss. You know,
100%.
like I only know what I
100%.
know. I only know what.
Yeah,
How
and if
I
you
can
find
do what
out-
I do, and that's what makes it mine.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you sort of figure out like the way that a certain artist lived, you know, then you sort of in the back of your mind have this idea about what makes a good artist, and
Yeah.
can sort of start eating away into your work process and how you perceive your work as well. I think that's wise to not really look too deep into it. It's interesting though, like the only artist that I've really sort of looked into their lifestyle in history would be Basquiat and Francis Bacon and Andy Warhol and someone else I'd watched a documentary.
Well, like
but I'm
that's
sort of
how.
Latin.
That's what I did when I
More.
first started painting. Was like I was like I need to learn at least a wee bit of history so I know. So it was just like
Yeah.
the majors like Basquiat, Warhol, Pollock, Francis Bacon. I think
Yeah.
Frida Kahlo.
That's
I
a
don't
good
know,
one.
I don't quite know how to say it.
No,
But like when you
think you're
Google
right.
famous artists, it's like the top 10.
Yeah.
And I just watched like a documentary on all of them
Yeah.
and then did a lot of reading and just kind of figured it out for myself what everyone's about.
How do you feel about the concept of good art only be made by people that have sort of come from a struggle or like a dark background, as opposed to someone who has potentially, you know, had
Like a nice upbringing. And
yeah,
everything.
you know, has sort of a not entitled life, but sort of, a nice upbringing, say a wealthy family, and someone decides they want to get into artwork.
I don't think that matters. I think it's all for the person, because someone can have all the money in the world but still be fucking unhappy.
Yeah.
And then I feel like, I don't know, because my shit comes from unhappiness or problems or, shit like that. Like, that's where it comes from. And I just hope that it helps people in a way. But I don't know. I don't know if that necessarily makes... I don't even know what the fuck good art is, man.
No,
it's just whatever you like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it gives it more meaning if it comes from somewhere.
When I look at art, I definitely look at that side of things, or at least if I know the background of something, that does play into how I sort of perceive that art. Like if you look at how, like, Basquiat was sort of brought up on, or the way that he came to be what he was, it does add a whole thing to the artwork. I do believe in that. But that has been something that's sort of eaten away at me a wee bit at points, not as a whole, but some days I sort of think, what does my art mean? Why is it the way that it is? Yeah. Is it just because that I've seen this other guy do it this way and I just
want to
said
do it
that
that
I
way?
could do it that way as well? Like, is there that much emotion going into it? I've had a lovely upbringing. Like, I don't have any trouble past at all. Like, does that mean I can't be a good artist? Like, those are thoughts that go through my head all the time.
I just figured out what I want to portray, and that's honesty, because that's the quality that I find in all the art, or music, art, and all that sort of thing in general. So, like, my favorite rappers, like Isaiah Rashad's probably, I don't want to say number one, but Isaiah Rashad's up there. He's just so honest, and it's like you listen to a lyric and you're just like, holy shit, that's me.
Yeah.
That's what I want to try and portray. I want someone to, like, look at, like, a wee phrase or something that I've written and be like, I understand that. I can apply that to my life in a way,
You're quite powerful with the sayings that you put into your work. There's quite a lot of
there's a bit of
text in your work. Is that something you got from Basquiat as well?
Yeah, definitely got the writing and stuff from him.
Yeah, how do you come up with sort of things to say?
It's like lyrics.
It just comes
like
like
a lot of it comes from lyrics. Like, I might hear something and then think about it in my own terms, and then repackage it up.
Do you ever sort of look back at paintings that you've written something on and sort of think, that was a wee bit corny or something like
definitely.
that? Because I'm not against that. I quite like the concept in your artwork and Basquiat's artwork, but personally I feel like if I was to write something on a painting, it would be exactly that. I'd look at it the next week and be like, why did I do that? Or it didn't mean as much as it did at the time, but sort of it's sort of a different dynamic, I suppose, to the work when you're putting text in, because you're literally telling the person something,
Well, that it kind of works in two ways for me, because, like, first things first, like, if I put it on there, I'm not that good at doing a picture of something.
Right.
I've never been that good at it because I haven't had any formal training or anything. I just kind of do it, and how it comes out is how it comes out. But, like, if I was to draw, like, a horse, it probably wouldn't come out that much of a horse. So, like, not necessarily I'd write horse beside it, but, like, I'd sort of allude to the
for
it
sure.
a bit.
Yeah. So you get the concept at least.
But then, like, going back on old things, like, sure, there's stuff that's corny in there, but, like, those old paintings are time capsules of what was going on in the weeks that I was painting that.
Sure.
So, like, there's, like, one with, like, the big Chairman Mao on it. And I was just reading about Chinese history and trying to, like, learn more about history in general. So that's why I put that on there. Or, like, that's got all the Mac Miller shit. Like, right as he died, it was like, holy shit, Mac Miller just died. And then all the thoughts and feelings of that went on to that.
Crazy.
And then it's cool to be able to look back and be like, that's what was going on in my life at that point.
For sure. I think text has a very powerful place in art, but I can't figure out how to place it. I just don't know. Like, some of the text that's in the Basquiat painting and other works that I've seen, not necessarily paintings, but just other forms of artwork, sometimes phrases can be so I don't even know, like, chilling sometimes, and just presented in a way that really makes you think, or it's something so obscure that it just makes it that much more powerful. And I just can't think up things like that to add to it, and I don't know what context it would portray or involve, or it's...
Well, I don't know. I use a lot of sayings. It's like, you probably heard me say it, you can't cage an ostrich, wings are too big. It's like that sort of shit, man. Like, I apply it to my life.
Yeah.
So, like, that's how I live my life.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, can't cage me.
Can't keep me head on this shit.
Yeah, you can't weigh
Yeah.
me down. So, like, I'd put that on a painting, you
Yeah.
know? It's like that sort of stuff that someone might read it and go, huh, you know, you can't cage me, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know, that's the biggest thing I want to do is just help people, you know? I feel like that's what I hope my art can do. I hope people look at it and go, like, this is a guy who has no training, no nothing, and he's somehow making it happen.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
why can't I do it? Because, you know, why not? That's what happened when I looked at a Basquiat. I was like,
Yeah,
why can't I do that?
beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. I wanted to ask you about your hookup with Benny, because
Yeah.
that's a pretty big step for you.
That's pretty crazy,
Yeah.
bro. It was wild.
How did that happen?
So that happened, I guess you could say, like, the seeds were planted ages ago. She bought a painting off me, like, a year ago. She bought that pink Auckland one.
Oh, that's right.
That was,
yeah.
I fucking love that one
That was
so
a nice
much.
painting.
Because that was, like, the photos that I put with it on Instagram was, like, we were sitting in, our friend Isaac, he let me, Damon and Riley stay in his room. So because we couldn't afford a Airbnb or anything. So he let us stay in his room, and then he went and stayed at his girlfriend's, like, ultimate mate move.
Yeah.
But I was just on the floor of his, like, room using pizza boxes as the
Yeah.
palette, and then just painting it that way. And then took it into Red Bull while Damo was, like, recording shit and
Yeah.
Hayden was recording shit, and just did a bit of drawing in there.
Okay, that's so
And it just came with me the whole Auckland trip. So all the
Yeah.
stuff, like in the big corner, there's a big it's a drawing from the Gons, from Mark Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah.
He's a massive influence. But it's, like, pretty much his drawing, but I've, like, twisted it a wee bit, you know, just ever so slightly. It's become the Ponsonby lady, because we walk around Ponsonby all the time, and I was just looking at these, like, rich people, like, God, you know, I quite often do that. It's quite
People
resentful.
watching, man. Yeah.
Well, you just look at rich people like, God, you must, how the other half live, you know?
100%.
It's like that. So, like, I put that, you know, that's, like, another thing on there, but she bought that off me. That was a weird one. I didn't know what to, like, charge or anything on the topic of, like,
Yeah.
paint
Well, that's
pricing.
that same point. Like, you just
We
got to
were-
know then and there.
We were standing outside Red Bull, and she's like, "Oh, I'm keen as to buy it." Like, messaged me. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, this was before she was, like, huge. She was
Yeah.
really big at that point,
Yeah.
but before she's where she is now. But yeah, bought it and dropped it off to her, and then I don't know, it was pretty cool. I don't know. I didn't want to make, like, a big song and dance about it or whatever. I feel like that kind of worked in my favor,
For sure.
because I feel like if it was like, "Oh, yo, she just bought this," and made a big deal, and it's kind of, like, cringe in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
like, I
fair enough.
don't know, I was just kind of happy with it. I was
Yeah.
like, this is pretty cool.
Sick. So that she obviously knew she liked your stuff and hit you up.
Yeah,
later
I
on
think
for
she
the
saw
album.
I think she saw the dummy alternate cover
Oh, yeah.
for Damo. I think she saw that, and then Damo was going up to open at the power station for her, and then met her there, and she's like, "Oh, I love your paintings and stuff." And I was like, "Cool,
Fuck yeah.
sweet."
Sick.
Awesome.
That's so cool, man.
But yeah, and then
and you
over,
did that pro bono?
What does that mean?
No charge?
No, first charged her like $100 or something.
Oh, for that
For that
painting,
first one,
yeah.
I was like standing outside Red Bull, like looking at my phone, like, I don't actually know what to charge you right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I meant more
prices.
for the single that you did.
No.
You don't have to obviously tell, but
Got paid for that,
Sweet.
which was good.
Okay.
But yeah, that was like over lockdown. I was just sitting there playing Madden,
yeah.
and then checked my message. I got a message, and I like looked at it, and it was her manager, like, "Hey, I sent you an email a couple of days ago, like, just hoping you could get back to me." I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Shit." So, like, quickly checked my emails.
Yeah.
And, oh man, I never check my emails, and it was like right there. And it was like,
Damn.
"Hey, we're looking at getting like a cover art or something."
Damn.
And then I was like, "All right, sweet, got it all worked out." And then I was like, "Oh, can you send the song over as well?" So, like, I have an idea of what, because, like, that's how I did it with like Damo stuff. Was like, I obviously know his music and I knew the songs, so I kind of had like an idea of what he was meaning by dummy. It's like, you know, like sort of love type stuff. So I could work with that. And so I asked him to send the song. I sent it through, and the link had like Benny, Bakar, Kenny, and I'd heard that she'd been working with Kenny Beats, and I was like, "Holy shit, this isn't that song, is it?"
Whoa.
Freaked me out. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, man.
And
Reality
then
set in. That's
yeah.
crazy.
just got to work because it was over lockdown. I had like another canvas sitting there.
Sick.
So did this first one that I really loved, like really liked it. I thought it was sick because like I tried to draw her, and I always find trouble getting like the essence of someone, and,
Sure.
like what makes them them, but I really nailed it. Like it looked like her, and I was like, awesome. And then sent it through to them. They're like, nah, don't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know whether it was like her or the management or whatever, but they're just like, nah, not too keen on it. And I was like, oh shit, like what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
So quickly nutted out a second one. And
Did
it was
they
like,
asked you to do another, or you just like, fuck, send another one?
no, they were like, oh, we need
Another
something.
go.
It's not quite what we're thinking,
Yeah.
like not quite what we're after. And yeah, I don't know. I was a wee bit gutted at first because I really liked
as you
it.
would be, yeah.
Yeah, but then I talked to Dan about it. He's like, if I,
$100 to
if
0.
you were releasing a song, you wouldn't want to not like the cover art.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So
Fair enough.
makes sense. So quickly did the second one. And it was a complete rush job. It was horrible. Sent it to them. They're like, nah, this sucks. And I was like, can I get like a wee bit more like direction?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they sent through like a mood board of all these sort of like night garden, like trees and shit
Yeah.
like that, and like the colours and stuff. So I picked up from that what they wanted, and then just sent through like a couple progress pics as it was going. They're like, yep, this is along the lines, and then got it all wrapped up. Yeah, signed the contracts and shit, sent it all away. It was all good. Then just had to wait for got Riley involved as well.
So
That's
was
pretty good.
that him doing all the animations and that sort of thing for that, or was that their guys?
That was him. Oh, he did one of them. And then the rest of them, they got some other people. I don't know, they've got someone at the label that finds people to do that sort of shit. But yeah, I was like, they're talking about using the full canvas because only the cover's only like a small piece of it. It's maybe like 3/4 of it. And
Right.
then there's like a whole nother bottom bit. But they're talking about using the full canvas for like Spotify, how it's got the moving pictures and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
on some songs.
Like when you've got the song played up on your phone.
Yeah. They're talking about using the full canvas for that. And then I was like, I've got a friend who could do that. And then he did, her manager, Paul, was like, yeah, put me in touch. And then got Riley in touch. Riley
Fuck
got
yeah.
to eat. It's pretty
Get
good.
the boys involved.
Yeah, man.
Fuck yeah.
Just one of us eats if we all eat.
Fuck yeah, that's so sick, man.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. Would that be like your first sort of commission job, or like your first sort of
That was
offer
like
for work like that?
For,
Like obviously that's pretty big, but like
yeah. Like,
someone that's
I've done
come
it
to
for
you
like,
and go,
I've-
I want you to do this for me.
yeah, I'd say so. Because like the other times I've done it's been for like just garbage people. It's like
Yeah.
Damo, and then did one for Hot Laps. Like Isaac
True,
and Sus
yeah.
Band did that. And then I can't think of anything else. I think that is probably the first thing that's been like commissioned like that.
Yeah, you've done a few in the obviously being involved with garbage and all that. You've had a lot to do in that music side of things, where it's been put on covers and it's
Yeah.
been in gigs and that sort of thing. It's
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
That's like how I've kind of got a leg up in a way. It's like doing the backdrops for gigs and stuff as well. It's like people see it and, you know, it looks... Well, that's another positive, that my style looks like garbage, you know?
Yeah.
It's all messy and shit. It
sure.
fits the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Aesthetic.
Yeah, 100%. That all ties in.
Yeah, so it all ties in together. So they see that and they're like, oh, that's so-and-so. And, you know, that's something that works in my favour pretty well.
So
Yeah.
cool, man. That's good to see. It's good to see you thriving.
Yeah, it's good to
That's
eat.
what you want. Got to buy your groceries.
Yeah,
Right?
I gotta... Yeah.
Look, man, we've been talking for 2.5 hours.
Crazy.
I thoroughly enjoyed this, man.
Yeah,
this
this
was
was a good-
really good.
this
This
was
is
a good
probably one of
one.
my faves so far.
I can't wait to sit down and listen to
Yeah,
myself
100%.
speak.
Oh, it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
I've only just gotten used to it, but it is another thing hearing yourself back. But
Yeah.
that's cool. This is a fantastic conversation, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
Awesome.
Yeah, is there anything coming up that you want to tell anyone about? Art-wise, or are we sort of potentially going back into a lockdown scenario?
Yeah, I hope it doesn't go into lockdown because I've
Yeah.
got all the Mustang shows coming up.
True.
So that was...
So you're going to be on stage doing that shit again?
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
big time. That's the most fun ever.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
I can't think of anything more fun. But like, yeah, just doing that sort of shit. Hopefully it doesn't lock down so we can go
So
to...
that's later in September, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it starts... I think we meant to go to Auckland like end of this month.
Oh, yeah.
It's like close to the start of September.
Cool.
But that's probably in limbo at the moment.
Sweet.
Depending on what happens.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, well. Well, I guess all fingers crossed that that'll go through
That
and you
goes
get to do
through,
that,
yeah.
because that's some pretty exciting stuff.
We got some other stuff in the pipeline for like painting wise and
Cool.
working and stuff like that. But we'll just have to see how that plays out.
Awesome, man. Well, I'll have all of your links in the description for the episode. If people want to go check you out, they can do just that.
Awesome.
All right. Sweet, man. Thanks again.
No problem. Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Awesome. Goodie?
That was a goodie. That was a fucking goodie.